I can play Zelda right now.
Yeah.
All right, good. We're stalled enough.
Zelda
Thank you, pal.
I'm so excited to talk about Zelda. I'm so pumped.
Okay.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Why don't you take us in there? Why don't you start us off?
Bud's in the host seat.
Wait, what?
Oh my god.
But
Are we doing this?
whatever.
Are we doing this?
The number one thing I was most excited to do on the first day of E3 was go straight to Nintendo and go straight to play Zelda.
Do we get to introduce? We to talk about the introduction to Zelda? Because you didn't watch it. I had to show you the trailer, but you didn't even see the true introduction. Like, we had Reggie talking this morning.
We did not see it.
He talked about it, and he goes, "All right, we're gonna show you the first look of the new Zelda."
Yeah.
First thing you hear is it's just like white. And it's like or black, and it goes to white, and it's like Link, open your eyes. You hear voice.
Yeah.
Female voice. That's like, what? What?
Voice
Boom.
acting.
Shots of all these really cool environments, like Link walking through canyon, over a desert, up snow mountains, through fields, goes to a beach. I was like, holy crap, this is big. This is really big. Like, they weren't lying. This game is huge. And holy crap. Then they showed later on the introduction. So it's like it's technically a Sheikah temple, but you have no idea what it is at first. It's like this futuristic technological like place, and like apocalypse style, like Link comes out of the sarcophagus.
Yeah, he's like a hibernation pod. He's like in this pool of water.
He's like, hey, wake up from your 100 years of sleep. Boom. This like telepathic voice or whatever the voice is coming from totally wakes Link up. It's like, hey, you're trying to remember stuff. Like, I know you don't remember anything, but you gotta listen to me. Go get this like the book that's like the Sheikah like slate, I think it's what it's called.
Sheikah slate, yeah.
And it's like, use it because it's gonna help you out and stuff. Like, so now the Sheikah have this future alien technology. It's like, what's going on here? Like, you're just as lost as Link. Like, I have no idea. And it's like, all right, here's your clothes, equip them, you're cool, go outside, boom. It's like Lion King style, looking at like, Pride Rock, looking over Hyrule. It's just like, look how big this place. It was like the Zelda 1 artwork realized in 2016. It was like, that little kid, Damiani, was like, one day, the Legend of Zelda will look like Zelda 1 in my head. This is what it looked like. And today, I was like, they did it.
They did it.
They made Zelda 1 come to life.
Do we have that shot?
They
up
made
there
it.
You made?
I did it in the pre-show.
Okay.
I put it up during the same scene. I paused it, picture in picture.
Oh yeah.
They did it.
You were waiting your whole life.
And then they're like, it's Zelda 1. We're dropping you in. Go explore.
Your Link, just go. Just play the game.
We all went in different directions in the first demo.
Yes.
And we all saw completely different stuff, and we even see everything we wanted to see.
Yeah.
They were not lying. Reggie said, you're going to see a small sample called, like, the Great Plateau. He just called it the Plateau, but it's called the Great Plateau. And he said, this is one small section of the whole world, and you're going to get to play it over the next 3 days, but there's no way you're going to experience everything in that area.
And he was right.
He was not lying. I was like, yeah, sure. I have 40, 50, 60 hours of gameplay in this new Zelda game. 20 hours later, it's like, directed by Shigeru. Like, thanks, guys.
Wait, who is it directed by?
I'm trolling.
Who is it directed by?
So this game is directed by...
It's Onuma, right?
No, it's not. It's Fujibayashi. It's not Onuma. It's Hideaki Fujibayashi, the former Capcom flagship alumni who did help make the Oracle games, directed the Minish Cap, and directed
that's actually really
Skyward Sword. So the same person directed the shitty ass Skyward Sword that this guy over here loves.
Love Skyward Sword.
Thinks it's the best game.
Yes.
Has this in his hand, so I was like, I don't know about this. Oh, he's notorious for story stuff, so I'm worried about the story, gameplay, whatever. It's clear that he's having a lot of help. It's clear that Monolith Soft is involved in this game somehow.
Why?
I see that influence for sure.
I'm pretty sure when you see the credits, or at some point they're going to reveal they're helping out the technology behind making that open world possible. I want to be surprised, like the cooking stuff in it real quick looked like almost pseudo Monster Hunter esque, like his anime, like the quirkiness to it. So I was like, this weird thought. This weird thought popped in my head. It's like, do you think they got any the Monster Hunter team with this? But anyway, getting away from it. Giant world. We all went in different directions.
Yes.
And I was like, holy crap! Like, there's no way that we got 20 minutes to play through 2 separate demos, and I was like, that's not nearly
not enough
time. No way.
Yeah.
Like, we got to go back every day, at least twice a day.
Well, you and I are going back tomorrow.
But we should explain this to everyone. So everyone's like, why didn't you camp out there or anything, aside from doing other appointments? How they're doing it this year is you have to wait in line to get a golden ticket, which has two giant circles on it that has a 1 and a 2, which represents each of the demos. When you get in there, you can't get past the line at a certain point unless you have the ticket. They will tell you to get out of the line and go back and try and get a ticket. Once you actually get inside, they make sure your ticket isn't stamped, and each time you complete the demo, you have a guy or girl by you pretty much. When it finishes, they stamp it, which means you can't play that demo again. Then they do like a code. They hold some buttons down. It resets the demo, goes to a different part. You play the second part. They stamp it. When you turn the ticket in, that's how you get this stuff here. You can't play the demo again.
I love that they keep you on the same station.
Yes, you don't have to move.
Speeds things up so much.
They have a really cool theater presentation they do before you play the game.
Oh man, let's talk about it.
But the thing is, like, you can't camp out there unless you got special permission to be in that like nice little VIP area.
It's camp out proof.
You got to get at it. Like you can walk around and look at the amazing booth, which we'll talk about now. But you can't camp there, and even if you wanted to, you have to go back in that line. It's pretty much after like an hour or two, it's full. Like you can't get a ticket anymore.
You would have to be like a famous YouTuber to play that game twice today.
Probably.
Yeah.
Need to be PewDiePie
or IGN.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Hold on. I want to talk about something we saw in the line. Unless you're going to go.
No. Let's go back to the line. We're in the line.
Before you go into the room, there's something that they reveal there.
What is that?
New amiibos.
Oh yeah.
That's what you want to talk about?
I want Damiani's opinion on this. Okay. I want to know what he thinks.
So they did they had this video running there. There's 2 videos. We'll talk about the second video real quick after this.
Sure.
They show beauty shots of the new line of Breath of the Wild amiibo figures that are be in the game. And it's like the one of the Link shooting the futuristic bow. The other one is I think the robot enemy.
Yeah,
is one of
there's one of the robot enemies.
Yeah,
that's a weird.
I saw a lot of those like ruined, like around the world.
Yeah, we can speculate about what those are in a little bit. There's some cool theories I heard.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damiani, we're doing speculation time.
But they have new amiibos coming out
We'll get there.
for just for the game, which is whatever.
I can't believe we're talking about
they showed off one video of how an existing amiibo will work in the new game. It was Wolf Link from Twilight Princess. When you put it on the gamepad, Wolf Link appears in your game as your companion. You got the Dogi with you.
He's got like the same markings.
Goes out and hunts with you, helps you fight like enemies. Is basically with you.
He's D-Dog.
As your sidekick. Yes.
It's D-Dog from MGS5.
Yes. So it's not some stupid like here's extra health. Like it looks like it gives you an advantage in the game.
Yeah. What does that say for the timeline though now?
Oh, okay. So real quick, there's Twilight. There's one.
This is not going to be real.
Twilight Princess Wolf Link is in there, and in another shot, a Korok from the Wind Waker. 2 whole separate timelines.
Yeah.
Shit mixing. What? Don't even know.
Dude, when they showed that first Korok, I loved it. Like,
I saw that. I was like,
great.
Well, one, I was like, oh man, all the trolls I'm gonna get for this. But I was like, this is awesome. Like. This game, it is ancient, forgotten Hyrule. This is like Shadow of the Colossus style here, where you don't know what this land is. You have to remember it. It's been like abandoned. It's been untouched forever.
Well, they talk about discovering lore on the stream. Yeah, like finding stuff in different places.
And to set it up so we can actually get into talking about the demos and everyone. Well,
no, this is great. I love this.
You have the voiceover. We talked about the intro. You get the voiceover from some narrator, female narrator,
Zelda,
which we're all guessing is Zelda.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe it's Zelda, but the easiest way to explain it is it's this game's Navi. It's this game's Fee.
It talks to you when you don't go to your objective marker for so long of time. It'll remind you, hey, Link, maybe you should go over here. I don't know if you can disable that or not.
I hope so.
Some people are like, oh, it's Fi. It's the spirit of Fi talking with you.
That's right,
or it could be a pre-recorded message in the Sheikah message board system, whatever the hell that thing is, the future technology. But you go out into the world, you meet this old dude who knows about,
who is a Dark Souls character.
He clearly knows who you are. He's like, do you remember you heard a voice? Do you know who she was? Huh, interesting. Like, he clearly knows.
But he plays along with you. He's like, what are you up to? Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
But he also says, like, this is like, he knows everything. He basically says, like, yeah, this is ancient Hyrule. This is Hyrule.
Yeah.
And it's fallen into decline. And then later on, you go over to this part, you see,
I think he said decay specifically.
Decay.
Whoa.
You gotta restore it.
No, Damiani's been corrected.
We got Half-Lifes going on here.
Okay.
The Master Sword's rotting away. There's a part where you see like what looks like Hyrule Castle or some kind of castle, and there's some weird energy
Hyrule
thing
Castle.
It's Hyrule Castle.
Wait.
going around
Sure.
it. You didn't see this in the story part?
I didn't.
The old man explains that
I saw that Temple of Time.
there's a Temple of Time that's that's ruined, but in the middle there
Okay.
is looks like Twilight Princess Hyrule Castle,
Yes.
and there's some mysterious force going around it.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Black
the old
and
man
red.
straight up says, you see the face, you're like, I think I know who this
Yeah.
is. He straight up calls it, and it's all in lowercase, even though it's red bolded.
Yes.
The Calamity Ganon.
Yes.
And Ganon wasn't capitalized. It was
Yes.
lowercase g. Like,
Cloud of
what?
smoke with teeth. It goes boom.
So apparently, Ganon came back 100 years ago.
Yup.
And something bad has happened, but it didn't finish it.
He wrecked the rule. He wrecked the
He's
land.
about. They had to resummon, resurrect Link, the
Yeah.
hero, for some, because desperation.
Yeah.
He's about to gain full power, and,
Yes.
and he says like everything will be destroyed.
Yes.
It's like, what happened here?
Dark
But then
Souls
you see
3.
like the Koroks. You're like, is this Wind
Hold on,
Waker?
hold on.
Like,
You missed an important detail about why it's around the castle. The castle was able to contain
Yep.
it for the
Yes.
last 100
There,
years.
yeah, so it was like the last seal that they could do, the last
Interesting.
seal. But they're like, that's decaying as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're
the
like-
castle
That almost
seal.
makes me wonder if the old man's a sage or something.
Could be a sage.
Could be a sage.
Could
Although
just be,
he
could
did
just be
sort of
King
seem like
Daphnis
an
No
old man,
Hansen Hyrule, because this is Hyrule, the flooded Hyrule that has come back at the end of Timeline C.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's come back.
Oh.
It's the end of it. They unflooded Hyrule. Finally.
He's got.
We're
he's-
going back. No more new Hyrule.
He's got a big gray beard. He's got blonde eyebrows.
What if he's Ganon? What if Ganon
Oh.
failed in what he was trying to do, and this is Ganon having you fulfill what he could not finish?
Because he lost
and so
it- he
you have
lost
a
it-
he's
he
like your
lost-
trusted friend throughout the game, and at the end is like,
that
oh,
mic
thank
on?
you. You thought you were stopping Ganon, but you were actually doing my bidding.
Oh, Jones.
Peace out,
Is
Link.
that mic on?
I just turned it on.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I was making sure.
Well, let me
You're
know.
on the
Actually,
talking.
chat. Let me know if you could hear me. Man.
Jones, I don't want to think about that.
But then they would have called it demise, because that would mean Ganon lost his evil spirit, and
Oh my God.
The power of Ganon's really from demise.
Ganon wouldn't
Anyway,
have
we're getting
blonde
to Timeline
eyebrows.
so stop.
He
Let's
wouldn't have
back up.
he doesn't
blonde
do
eyebrows.
that.
Stop. Let's back up.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
let's
presentation.
I want to back up to something too. Like when they're first starting out, like right after you get, like, just there's so many little details that I picked up in there. There's just when you walk out, you're in like just in your boxer shorts
Yes.
or whatever, and then like first thing you do is you pick up clothes.
Yeah.
You know, like this whole crazy clothing system, and then later on in the stream. They went to the snow and like, yeah, you have to put on a warm jacket or you're going to start losing health.
Yeah.
It's really
And
crazy to
It's
me.
actually clothes optional. I was wandering around with the pants on, but shirtless. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
you could
It was
go
really
shirtless
cool.
Link.
You can be shirtless
They even
Link
said
in
on the
this
stream,
game.
you could go fight Ganon probably
Yeah.
or something. You never thought you could fight Ganon as nude Link or
Yeah.
shirtless Link,
Yeah.
and
But the clothes had stats on them,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting also.
this game.
Yes, they
so
have defense stats.
Yes.
this game has a lot. Is going to have a lot to do with crafting and gear
A lot,
management.
a lot.
More so
Yes.
than any of the previous games. It does
The
tile.
food instead of hearts.
There's no hearts or heart containers that we could see. You replenish food or health, as Blood said, by cooking, gathering raw ingredients and cooking them. That's why we're talking about. There's these trays you can go up to, and you can light them with a torch, or you
I
can
didn't
knock
find
them
one.
onto them. It's one right at the beginning of.
I saw an axe and I booked it to the axe.
But
you can also put like the fields on fire, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
pick up anything you pick up can either be used to craft something eventually, or you can pick up other weapons and different
Yes.
shields or
Yep.
gear and change them out.
From enemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's basically like you get what you get from enemies is what you have. It doesn't. It makes me think like, are they gonna hide items in the world, like traditional items that you just get normally, or do you have to like craft them or kill an enemy to get them? Are they gonna do that completely
Yeah.
differently?
I got a bow and arrow in a chest. I think.
Oh, so you did get that?
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I think
But
that.
that might have been just the demo to
Sure.
simplify it. Who knows?
Well, the bow is also, I feel like it's a much more essential kind of thing.
Oh, for sure. In this game,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's like you can always use it. So you should explain like you can on the fly change out. One
Weapons.
D-pad changes out like your shield, and one changes out like your sword.
And the other one, your magical item.
Yeah, and your magic,
Oh,
your runes. They're called runes.
Runes,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can change out your runes. that
For
you
example, we had a bomb for a rune.
Oh, yeah.
That was like on a cooldown. There wasn't a number you necessarily were keeping.
get. And what was that thing? Like, did you find for weapon stuff? Did you find the rusted broadsword?
Yes.
In the
Oh, I
lake?
love
Yeah.
that troll, dude. It looks like the Master Sword sticking
It's
up
a
Well,
great-
it's,
yeah.
it's a Link to the Past reference from the
Yeah.
Lost Woods when you could go
Yeah.
in there and get
Oh,
the fake
yeah.
ones and pull it up. Is it the map? Oh, it's not. You got trolled. It's not really it. Nice throwback there.
So tell me why those swords are doing in that forest.
some
Old warriors.
Who knows? Like time has passed. That might have been
100
like a
years.
No,
sanctuary. It's right next to the Temple of Time.
Link to the Past is just a dumb, boring game.
Stop.
I mean,
I don't think you're gonna
wait,
like
wasn't
this
that
game.
forest full of thieves? I mean, that only makes sense to
There
me
was the
that
thieves
they would have
hideout.
decoys.
You know,
Yeah.
like these-
Hideout.
Oh yeah, there was Thieves Hideout with the dude who.
It doesn't make sense geography wise.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, moving forward.
But
I did my
there's
troll.
one other thing.
Yeah.
The items.
Yeah.
You get from the mini dungeon that they let you go into. You get the magnetosis
The magnetosis thing, yeah.
thing, which is the thing you see in the trailer. Link's doing this cool magic looking stuff. It's basically like when you activate it, it highlights panels or blocks that you can interact with that turn yellow, where everything red is you can't interact with, and you target it, and then you can like move it
Pick it up,
around.
yeah.
Like you move platforms up and down. You could pull out blocks.
And I would
Gravity gun
say
style.
the way that the targeting works is it's always in front of you. It's kind of like Smite. You know what I mean? When you're charging a super in Smite and you just have like that
Oh,
thing
yeah,
in front
yeah,
of you.
yeah.
I would call it that. I would say that's basically how you're aiming your magical spells, which is kind of cool.
One thing I thought was cool too when you're aiming the bow, the arrows being like right there next to your cursor, like
Oh yeah, so you could see them real easy.
Oh my gosh, the aiming reticle basically.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It
Yes.
also had like a number on it. I think it would also talk about the distance because you can pick up any arrow you shoot.
yes.
That doesn't, I think, hit its target.
No,
yeah.
I hit some. Oh, maybe you're right. You might be right about that.
Maybe
yeah.
you might actually be right too, but you can definitely go pick up arrows you fired. And they show a number on the reticule, so I think it helps you judge distance because you can see the trajectory on it. When you were too short, I think it would help you with your aiming basically.
Yeah, it's cool. You really have to aim above your target. I love shooting that bow and arrow.
And
I love that thing.
So the combat system, like using any of the traditional weapons, like you can use I got a sword and I had an axe at one point. I
Yep,
never
you can
got
use
the
a
spear.
club.
There's
got
the
the club.
Boko,
I got the club,
Goblin
man.
club.
Yeah.
You could use
That
that.
was sweet.
Those don't use stamina unless you do like try and do the spin attack.
Yeah.
So the spin attack uses stamina. There's a stamina meter in this game. And then there's also the run, which uses your stamina, or
Yep.
climbing up stuff also
yeah.
uses your stamina.
The climbing is one of the things that kind of blew me away because that's just like it's just like inviting like a completely different game design.
Oh,
you know, it's
yes.
like almost like you would think that would break your game. What, you can't climb up straight walls?
Verticality.
I love the climbing.
Every
Yes,
wall.
there's
You
verticality.
see a pillar, climb up to the top. There's a treasure chest. Okay,
And that's
cool.
what the stamina is for, because there's gonna be high places they don't want you getting to right away.
There were towers that
Shadow
could climb.
Colossus,
So they don't
pretty much.
they don't want that.
That actually
someone in
happened.
chat actually mentioned this is a good thing. This is the first Zelda game since Zelda 2
Whoa,
where Link can manually jump
jump.
without the use
The
of
jump
an
button!
item.
Felt-
There
I
is a
love
button. I read the controls. It said jump. I was like,
We did it.
Yes.
We did it,
Base
everybody.
I love the
Miyamoto.
jump button.
Thank you,
Base
Miyamoto,
Miyamoto.
for answering our prayers.
Miyamoto played it.
The
This
last,
isn't fun.
the
This
last
isn't fun. Had a jump
truly
button.
good Zelda game, Zelda 2.
Yeah.
The one with the
my
greatest
God.
combat system, the one in an alternate timeline, is the most popular Zelda game, and Zelda became
The last good Zelda.
Zelda reached the Soul status before he even needed From Software to come along and save gaming with the Soul series.
Well, yeah.
Damiani.
It was the last great combat Zelda game.
The last
Had
good
manual jumping. This is an omen.
Zelda. Yes.
Overall design like Zelda 1
Mm-hmm.
influence, control system influenced by Zelda
They
2.
finally caught
Absolutely.
the best of two worlds.
Speaking of the combat controls, somebody tried to correct me earlier. Which one of us is right? Did Wind Waker have the same kind of thing where you could steal weapons? I don't remember.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
You totally
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could you remember
only a couple of them.
you could
Only a
any
couple.
like
See, this makes it seem like it's more common.
like you
to
could
do.
steal the sword from the Dark Nuts that you fought. The big sword, you could pick it up. You could like try and swing it.
Oh,
slow.
right.
The bokoblins, they could drop like their
Yeah.
Weird,
like,
naughty
But it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
like. Yeah, it was like
was
an
temporary.
extra pickup item. It wasn't.
Yes, it was
Like
temporary.
with
If
this,
you-
it's like this isn't a
It's
piece
in your
of equipment.
inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's part of your
Yeah.
equipment, yes.
Very cool.
What else?
Oh, durability seemed like a big factor.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
yeah.
had my bow break
my
for sure.
yeah, my
Bad.
sword broke, and I asked the lady behind us. So I was like, "So, can you like repair anything in this game?" She didn't know, so I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to do
I had
anything
two
with
I
the
would
same
guess that would be
swords.
later. Like you would
that.
find.
Like
a
I'm sure
smith
you'll
or
get the
something.
master sword or something. Like can't break it,
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
I don't mind it.
I did get
I don't
two.
mind it.
The starting sword you get, I did get another one of another
Okay.
like one with the max or the same durability.
Okay.
So I wasn't too. I went like gung ho. I was like whatever.
Yeah.
They have, as you saw in the trailer, they have the only part I got to see was the parry system, like the time parry.
I've done it. I did it. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, we all did it.
You need a shield.
You
You
did
shield.
I didn't
Yeah.
do. Okay, I asked the lady by me too. I was like, "Is there a parry system in this game?" Because I was like doing it and showing her. She also didn't know.
Which is great.
But then I did the backflip. There's like a backflip
so you
parry
did.
now.
So you did do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I did
is
that one.
The
That's
backflip
very
one is
unlike
Bayonetta,
Nintendo. That
basically.
shows
Yeah,
you
it's
how big
Bayonetta.
this game is.
Yeah,
Usually,
there's
their
just too
booth
much-
people know everything.
They
Yeah.
just needed. I think they just needed. There's so many stations there. It's probably impossible to get
Yeah.
them all up to that expert level of knowledge. And yeah,
I
But-
love it. I love the parries. I love the way that the battles feel. You know what? I had this one thing. Speaking about durability, these bokoblins were in this like tree house that had a bridge up top. You couldn't climb a ladder up to it, and so I was shooting with my bow and arrow, and then it broke. And then they just laughed at me from up above. I couldn't do anything. I had to like leave. I had to okay, I'll come back for you.
With that, another thing I thought was almost bizarre. Like, this is one of the things that was like took me aback, and I'm probably okay with it, but it just didn't feel. It's one of the few things that didn't feel like a Zelda type of thing is using the gamepad to like target and mark enemies and see hit points.
Oh, those numbers. I saw that coming up on someone playing before, next to me. What was that from? And then now that you explained it, that was from that. Yeah, I don't know about the hit points. Like, they have the health bar above them. That's enough for me. But for people who really want to,
But it's even tagging enemies like Metal Gear style is kind of crazy.
yeah.
You can tag enemies.
Speaking of Metal
you can do
Gear-
it with the. Go ahead.
Stealth
Stealth.
is in this now.
Oh,
Yes.
no, there's been stealth since like Ocarina of Time.
I know, but
in
it's
various
like
forms.
way more featured in this.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
There's a lot in Wind Waker.
There's a crouch button.
Because there's
though.
gonna
there's a
be
crouch
because there's
button.
gonna be
Yeah.
there are gonna be enemies that are too tough for you probably.
Yeah, sneak attack.
Because they said like when I set up the campfire and campfires advance time essentially.
Oh, cool.
So I advanced
The
to
Witcher.
night immediately, and they said like the enemies are gonna be harder at night. So just be aware of that.
Oh, I didn't
So
know that.
in Ocarina of Time fashion,
Yeah.
Staphos kept coming out of the ground
Whoa,
like in certain
dude.
spots.
Is that what happened to you right now?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome.
So I had to deal with that while I was at a Bokoblin stronghold, and I was like, "Oh, great! Look at all this stuff going on here." But there was a time where you had to get to the cave. I don't know if you also went to it, where
I did not get to a cave.
It's the start, the sequence that takes you to the mini dungeon proper during
I
the
did
story
that.
part. Those enemies on the hill that are looking at you. You can just go around them and avoid the fight.
Cool.
So there definitely gonna be times where you don't want to be seen by enemies, or you can
That's
just
awesome.
it gives you the option. You don't have to fight everything.
Did anyone there see the weather system? They talked about how going to a
I
different place in
didn't see
different
any,
weather.
man.
Oh, I mean, I got to a snowy place.
You
and I had
did.
to- I had to
I
But
was
in
going
a,
to-
like a
but,
normal place, like where it just starts rolling in, raining or something.
Yeah,
like
it
I
that.
didn't see anything like
That's-
that. No.
One thing that stood out to me about rupees.
I didn't see
You
rupees.
can't cut down plans to get rupees. The
There
only
were
time I
pots.
saw the word rupee mentioned is I got an item in a chest that said this can be crafted into rupees.
Yeah.
Crafted into
It was like
rupees.
an ore or something like
Did you
that.
break
Yeah.
the pots on
Yeah.
the path leading up to Temple of Time?
Yeah, I cracked some Temple of Time pots.
There was no rupees in those.
There was no rupees in those.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't-
no.
I
Oh,
know.
so you're mad.
I know. It was
I
like,
see.
wow,
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
grass. It
They
was like,
trolled you, dude.
They
No,
didn't have
That's
hearts or
almost
anything.
like Dark Souls right there. Break all these pots,
Yeah.
nothing's in there.
That's cool.
Rupees are
Something else
gone.
about the music. It is ambient.
Yep.
It is
Sure.
ambient noise,
They made a point about talking about how they did the music differently.
minimalist thing. During the cutscenes though, like the Sheikah thing, downloading data to your Sheikah slab or slate, it does the but it doesn't finish. It doesn't do the
Yeah.
It just
And
does
it
the
does it a
first
little
part of it.
abstract. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
interesting.
So there are hints of melodies in there at times, but no. I think it gets during like boss battles or like more serious encounters, or if you're like mounted or something, they'll probably add music at that point where it makes
Yeah,
sense.
The music in the trailer is powerful, though. I wouldn't say this
Yeah.
game
It's
is
really
devoid of
good.
music
It's
for the
really good.
entirety. Like
So
that. Gosh.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually proper music at certain points, but for the purpose of the demo, which is very minimalist.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm curious about, because we saw the food thing. We talked about the food thing, and that's how you regain health.
Well, hold on. You can get health from raw food.
Yeah.
Cooking it just increases the amount.
Yeah.
Of health.
You also get buffs
Whoa.
from some of them. That was in like one of
Yeah.
the stream things. I didn't get it in there.
Yeah.
But there was one temporary increased stamina. So that was one of the first ways you could do that was to cook
okay.
something to
That would
get
help, yeah.
temporarily increased stamina.
Cool.
But what I'm curious though is if they're using that mechanic, like what they will actually do when it comes to like increasing your hearts, like your total hearts. Because you can't be at 3 hearts the whole game.
I did not find a piece of heart. I promise you
no
that.
piece
They
of
probably
hearts.
didn't want.
Yeah.
They probably. Didn't want them to
I
be
feel
in the
like they
demo.
might not do a piece of heart or
Yeah.
a heart container, but what will they do instead? I'm very curious.
I bet
Side quests.
like Link probably kills a boss and then eats it.
Eats their heart.
Yeah,
Cuts it out.
Just pulls out their heart, eats
I'm guessing that's probably not the case.
it, and then just like bloop bloop bloop. Yeah, that's probably what happens.
Oh man.
But with that, and then like with the clothing system, with I saw some armor in the trailer.
Yeah.
Some like sweet
Yeah.
armor.
Suit of armor.
Sets of
I'm very
armor.
curious.
Definitely.
You know, just like when you move with the axe is kind of different. I wonder if when you move with the armor is different, or if you like can't climb when you're wearing armor,
Oh yeah, it'll be slower.
because that wouldn't make
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
Armor's got to have drawbacks for sure.
Did anyone ride a horse? Did you find a horse?
No, I tried to see if you could like sneak up on like one
boar?
of those boars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I just killed one and got its raw meat.
You're going to try to ride a boar?
I was gonna see if you could like sneak
Sneak
up
up
on
on
it and
it.
like jump
Okay.
on it.
Because it said like you could sneak up on things and like dash at the last second. So that was a better way to sneak up and trying to ambush things or get them. Like you said, also like the fishing thing. Like that was like a thing. Like if you see a swarm of fish, do the like dash swim thing right before you get to them, so they won't get away. So you can like gather the fish.
Whoa.
So, they're swimming.
Yeah.
There's also some oil field thing that I thought was water, and I jumped into.
What?
And I instant
Wow.
drowned.
I didn't see
You
that.
insta drowned in oil dummy?
So in the first demo where you
Yeah.
just go and explore,
Yeah.
I went to the first shrine of S word something AU. I forget what it was called. Sorry, or O something.
Wait, you
AU.
wake up in the Shrine of Resurrection.
No. The mini dungeon. They're called like shrine
okay.
of something.
Sure,
Each
sure.
one, I
I
believe.
think she said there's 100 of them too. The lady told me like
Dang.
100.
So I was walking to it, and it looked like it was I thought it was a water source in front of it, just like a pond or something. I was like, I'm just gonna cross it to get there sooner. And as I got to it, I was like, is this a graphics issue? Like, it looks black. Like, is
Oh,
this
no.
not it's in water?
Oh,
and I
no.
jump in, he just like insta sinks. He goes, oh, and then, like drown. And I was like,
That's a good Link
and
impression.
then he like wakes up like on the side again, and like, oh, oops, I
The old man dragged you out.
probably because
Yeah.
in Skyward Sword, you know, the patrol bird people make sure you didn't
Oh,
commit
right.
suicide.
Context,
So yeah, the old man saved you. King
Yeah.
Daphneus Nahance Hyrule, because you know he sunk with Hyrule, but they unflooded it, so he's back now. Got to make things right.
Can I talk about one moment where I was dehyped?
Okay,
Let's hear it.
Okay.
I think I know what it is.
Towers.
Brandon Jones.
Oh,
there are
towers.
towers.
This game has towers. This game has get to this point, climb the tower, activate this thing, open up more of your map.
Yeah.
So they're doing open world correctly, is what you're saying, Kyle.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean that's what they're doing. They're doing a standard open world design.
So they're giving you a marker on
Well-
the map that they're telling you if you go to, it will open up other things and show you other places you can go to on the map. And
Yes.
that's bad.
Yes.
It's just typical. It's just what we've seen before.
That's true,
We've
but
also seen talking to people and having them give you items. We've
Sure,
also
sure,
seen
sure, I hear you,
destroying
Jones.
objects and having items come out of them. We've
Yeah.
also seen eating food and it giving you benefits. We've
But
also
wouldn't it be
seen
better if you didn't have
attacking
anything
things with
to
bows.
lead you? You know, you guys talked about the moment you went into that game and you all went in different directions. It's like, let's go explore. That's so exciting.
Yeah, I hear you.
Whereas
Yeah.
all these games with towers, you open up the map and you go in autopilot mode. Let me go there, open up the map. Oh, that leads to another tower. Let me go there, open up that.
So the thing is, while they even had markers on the map that you could like, you can.
Oh, they're fighting. They're
fighting.
We need Jones Cam. Is Jones Cam
We
on?
should mention that real quick.
Nah.
Sure. They did have a marker system where you can use custom icons to set waymarks on the map.
Yeah.
Like a sword, a shield icon, and there's some other icons, numbered icons.
Yeah.
That you could lay down. But
Oh,
I just
okay.
want to, opinion-wise, I mean that was fact. That's like how to help the system track things, because there's probably a ton of stuff to track. It was just overwhelming to see how much stuff you could go check out, and the fact that they supposedly like some of the NPCs are. They probably didn't have side quests unlocked in that yet. Like, there's
No.
probably all these things
Oh.
you can discover to do side quests, and they were like, "That's too much for you right now. We're not even going to give that to you."
Yes.
There's going to be
side quests
there's
for
gonna be
sure.
so much to do, and then just even the first quest you give in the story quest, the main scenario quest is, "Hey, I have this cool paraglider.
Yeah.
See where we are right now?
Where he cruises
We're
in?
so
Yeah.
high. We're so high up. We're so high up right now
Yeah.
that if you try to jump off, you will die an unpleasant death. But I'm going to give this to you, but not for free. Why don't you go prove your worth and go do this for me or whatever?" And you don't have time to finish that, but you're gonna get that. That's gonna let you access other areas. They're clearly still gating places off for story reasons, or maybe they just want to get used to the gameplay. Who knows if that's how the final version is going to be?
Yeah.
But just how big the area was, as I was saying earlier, I just want to play the demo like at least 4 more times. I want to see it. I want to try and see everything in that area because there seemed like there was so much to do.
Yeah.
To go check out, like landmarks, and you don't know this time. It's like, is this landmark? Even in the stream, they said some of these pieces might look awkward, like odd or out of place because you can interact with them and like reconstruct them with the magnetosis or whatever. I was just like, oh man.
But there's no wind turning you around. There's no weird little guy who's just like shuffling about.
No
saying,
invisible walls. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just none of
There's
that.
there's no unnatural gatekeeping.
Yes.
So there's no. It's just like you're high up and you don't know why.
Organic gatekeeping.
Well, with the towers though, like how like obvious does that? Like, does it say like go here and do this?
So basically, yes, it's your first subquest is it basically, and it's funny. It says like completed. It said like activate the tower completed on the top of the screen, which is why I think there's gonna be a ton of them. But
But being the first one also, it's kind of misleading because that could just be kind of a tutorial type of thing.
well, the first one isn't a tower yet. You activate it. And
We
it
see a couple rise
shoots
up.
out of the ground, and then you see the others. So the others aren't points on your map to go light up. You just see the tower and like, oh, okay, so I have to go to that tower to
Yeah.
open up that part of the map.
Huh.
And no, I don't know if they gave any information. There was only the stinky rumors ahead of time
Stinky
about
rumors?
what was going to happen.
Okay.
The only one that was sort of right was the 100+ mini dungeons. The rumor was that there's only 4 main dungeons. There was like no indication about main dungeons or anything,
No.
other than maybe the towers are gonna be the ones that lead to that. And then
Ooh,
the trailer,
There's gonna be a whole underground system that's all connected.
the labyrinth,
that'd be
the
nice.
Underworld's coming back. Zelda 1 Underworld's coming back, baby.
What is the Zelda 1 Underworld?
That's the name of where all the labyrinths are. Because they're not called dungeons in Zelda
right.
1. It's called the Underworld. That's
Whoa.
where all the labyrinths are.
Dropping
And that's where the
knowledge.
Triforce Guardians are.
In the
And
Underworld.
that's how you get the Triforce of Wisdom, is you go into Underworld and conquer the labyrinths and defeat the Triforce Guardians.
Cool.
Were put there by Zelda to protect the Triforce when she broke up into 8 fragments. Ganon and his minions did not. I always go over this like every month with
Okay.
people. Ganon's enemies and stuff aren't the bosses in Zelda 1 aren't Ganon's like army generals or whatever the hell people make up in their heads. They were put there by Zelda
To guard the
to make sure no one could get the Triforce except the true hero who could slay them.
Cool.
The regular enemies could be Ganon's. I don't know about that.
Well, let's go into that. What are the Guardians? What are they about? What's your theory about
this,
those?
in this Zelda?
Yeah.
You mean the bosses?
No. The robots with tentacle
Oh,
legs.
so this is so back earlier. Blood said I saw these robots in these
Yeah.
ruins, and there was a short cut with the weather changing, like lightning. Seemed like lightning approaches, and they get powered up or something, or something bad happened when lightning happened.
Okay.
They're clear it was probably some battle in the past where these things came about to Hyrule. Either the Sheikah got so powerful and their technology, like Terminator style, turned on them,
Ooh.
or Ganon came back and got control of them and nearly conquered. But it looks like they wrecked Hyrule, and they're just scattered about. They're deactivated now because either the war ended and then just stopped fighting, but they get reactivated, and they clearly have lasers and all this cool shit that you don't have.
Yeah.
Until in the trailer, which we saw like forever ago, where Link gets powered up bow
That
of the
bow,
future, Sheikah bow.
Yeah, that thing won't
Bam.
break.
Lightsaber
that
bow.
bow won't break.
That's max durability right
Max
there.
bow.
Yeah.
That's like Ragnarite.
I think those. I
You
think.
get that.
Wait, what is Ragnarite?
Valkyrie.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay.
Ragnite.
Ben just looks over at us.
That's like shame on all you casuals
For
for
adding-
not playing an amazing game.
Adding an extra syllable to it.
I didn't just play it. I'm sorry.
I added an
I
extra
played it
syllable.
a
It's
long time
Ragnarok.
ago. Ben's pissed.
Oh,
The death stare.
So I,
Ben is
I
the
have
villain of this new Zelda
He
game.
cracked. There it is.
I have a curious question. That's more speculative than anything, but considering you have the Sheikah slab.
Yes.
Slate.
Or slate. Yeah.
Just call it the Sheikah book.
Anyways,
it's the book of
It's your
Mandora.
iDroid.
Yeah, your iPad.
yeah.
It's a gamepad.
Yeah.
You flip it over.
Yeah.
But how integral is that scene? Does it feel like they will need you to have a gamepad on the NX?
No.
Oh no, I
No.
don't think they'll go that far. I think if the rumors are true, if NX has the portable thing, the handheld component, maybe. But I highly doubt they're gonna. I mean, it'll still be there, but I don't think it's gonna. You're gonna need like a gamepad like device. Did you play the Wind Waker? Or sorry, not play the Wind, but in the Wind Waker HD, you have the benefits of having the gamepad when you use it, but you could totally use a normal controller. Everything just goes to the screen interface.
Okay.
Same thing with they did with Ni no Kuni. You had like the physical book, but they also did. You could go through a virtual book. So there's always a way around it. I don't think they're gonna force you to have some weird thing unless the gamepad works with the new NX.
It's not going to work with the new X.
Anyway,
I think actually it
about-
could be compatible even if it's not necessary.
One last thing before we conclude. The game is a little rough on Wii U.
yeah.
This game is going to look good on NX.
Oh yeah, baby. On PC too.
The Wii U version is a little hindered, I would say.
Yeah, I
compromised.
definitely saw some spots where they were trying to hide things like drawing in like at certain angles.
It's got some cruddy
like,
textures.
oh,
Yes, chat. We know towns were removed from the demo.
Wow.
Whoa,
Removed.
Ouch.
Well,
That's an interesting statement.
Maybe not removed, but you can't access them.
Yeah.
You were definitely blocked off into your area.
Yeah.
There was there was some
Secrets.
weird barrier thing that would turn you back if you
Did
tried
you
to
guys
go
talk
past
about
it.
the stamina meter being right next to your head?
Yeah, what's wrong?
I don't like that.
It's like right next to you when you're
You
running.
need to see it. It's like HUD 101.
I'm staring at a TV screen. You can put it in the corner. I can
No.
see
It's gone when you're not,
not when
running or
you're
anything.
not when you're raiding against an amazing Ganon boss.
It's an eyesore to me. I didn't like it, and I didn't play it. I just saw that it being played in the demo. You know, like I saw the stream and like
Okay.
I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like I see this beautiful thing and there's just like a circle right in the middle of the screen. It's like
Right.
your stamina, and I'm like, get out
Okay.
of here. Like
I have a
why are you
solution.
blocking the bubble that is surrounding the central character of the game.
Let's just get rid of it. Get rid of the stamina system, please. It's the only thing I don't want in Zelda. I don't want that.
Well, but even
Let's get rid of it.
But even like,
They have time.
but anyway, Dark Souls, it's right in your health bar. It's up in the corner.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
that's-
like, and Dark Souls is like one of the toughest games in the world, and like it's fine. Like
point.
I
I
can
buy
look
it.
over the corner and realize, I'm in stamina trouble, or I'm fine, and I don't need like every second to see stamina.
Jones, I'm buying in.
Yeah.
Well,
You're right, Jones. You're right.
you don't see it every second.
Soul's
You only
right.
see it
It's-
when you're using it.
Skyward Sword. In this one, it's just a simple green circle, and it when he depletes, it refills as red.
Yeah, Skyward Sword was more like a lime.
Yeah.
But
Um.
do we what else?
What was?
Are we at a place where we can start wrapping it up and talking about some other games? Or
You can do
what
four-
we're
Oh,
thinking?
absolutely.
You do
I
4 quick spin attacks before your stamina goes away.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the
That's
last thing
that.
I really want to talk about. I think the game is going to look excellent on NX. I'm very, very, very excited about this game. I'm not very, very excited about the Wii U version, but I want to say in conclusion, Nintendo made a bold choice in saying this is the only game we're showing at E3 this year. This game that will not come out this year. It's the only thing we're showing on the floor.
Well,
It
they didn't
needs
have
it.
anything else to really show.
That
And-
and this game needs it.
I think it was a good call.
Yes.
They need
it
this.
Did, it did need
Can
it.
you
I was
imagine
very
if this
critical
were-
of it, and I think it was a good call.
Can you imagine if this were a regular Nintendo booth with like their regular showing and trying to show off the Zelda? How crowded?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
never,
yeah.
you wouldn't get near it.
No,
Yeah.
the whole hall was jammed up with that. Between that and the Persona stage, there was no walking.
I was like, yeah, we said a P word.
They made their booth only Zelda, and it still wasn't enough. They still had to turn people away.
And it was
Yeah.
a gorgeous booth.
It was
Yeah.
great.
You can. By the way, if you are there, you can go through the booth without having to wait in a line. They will let you in because you need
Yeah, if
the,
you just wanna look
You need
around.
the ticket to play, so
Yeah.
you get in there. Don't feel like you accomplished anything, but because you can't play. But you can totally check out the cool stuff. I would say it's not as cool as the shots I saw from the 2005 Twilight Princess one. But
Oh, you weren't
this-
there that year.
I wasn't there yet, but
Oh,
all
wow.
the photos I saw made it look a little bit more intricate. But this was pretty good.
Well, I mean, you were like inside of a dungeon, yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I was very happy.
Yeah.
The Link fighting the robot thing, life size.
I don't think I could have left with a better impression of the game.
Did I have
That's
to
great.
applaud at Nintendo?
Yeah.
I do?
Yeah, yeah. So, Jones, you have to go outside their booth and give them a round of applause.
Okay. But we get. I mean, I will do that. I don't think.
Wait, what time?
Yeah, I don't think
What
chat's
time?
gonna
I
trust
gotta
me that
film
I
this.
did it. Yeah, I think
No, no, we'll get
yeah,
video.
yeah,
We'll get
yeah.
video.
I'm shooting tomorrow at 9. What time are you doing this?
I'm doing a thing tomorrow, probably until like 11.
11 a.m. Zelda.
Yeah, I think you've got time.
That might not be the time, but we'll coordinate.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
Jones doubted it. Jones doubted that Nintendo would ever devote an entire booth to one game, and they totally did it. They were totally crazy, and they
The
did
whole booth.
it. Yeah.
You
whole
couldn't,
booth.
if you wanted to play another Nintendo game anywhere
Nope.
on the show floor, it is impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, get ready, Jones. You got to record that tomorrow.
Freaking.
Cool. What do we want to move on to? Do we want to swap out for a
Skip.
different team and get some
Oh
other
yeah,
people
yeah.
in
Let's get a
here?
different team in
Let's
here.
get them up here.
I'd like to eat a little pizza.
Okay,
Do you
yeah,
guys want to
Kyle's
talk
an E.
about Resident Evil? What do you guys want to talk about?
Well,
What do you want to talk about, Ben?
That's not a lot of
Well, I know
stuff.
Ben's gonna talk about Persona stage demo. Huber and I definitely need to talk about Deus Ex. I've got about 5 other games to talk about on top of that.
My stuff can wait.
Yeah, let's
Saw
get
some fun things,
Huber
but
and
not
Ben in
very
here.
much. I like to get Ben up there.
Get up there, boys.
Get up on that desk. You gotta get up on that desk. Get up on that desk. You gotta get up on that desk. Get up on that desk. You gotta get up on that desk.
We need one more.
Get up on that desk.
Better boss, get over.
Brad or Brandon?
Get up on that desk. You gotta get up on that desk.
Moving on down.
They're calling for Persona, so I think we're gonna have to go up to Persona.
Feel free to go inside and heat up the pizza if you want.
I was about to put on headphones.
It's back here. It's back here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, before we get into this,
Sure.
I have a disclaimer. I can shoot like a rocket into the sun about Persona right now. I'm ready. I'm capable. My electrons are firing, but I am actually going to play Persona hopefully tomorrow
you don't
morning.
know that, though.
Save it. Save it.
No, I'm going to force them to let me play Persona. So should I
But
gush
do they
now
even
and gush
have
later?
any? The stage isn't someone playing though, right? It's just a guy talking over a video.
No, but there are closed doors.
People have to have a place to eat.
Word on the street. Word on the street.
Okay, if you think it's there. We'll see.
So I can either go off now or I can save it till tomorrow.
I'd say go. I mean, people they want it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
I've seen
People are asking for
people
Persona
in
right
chat.
now. We should do it.
Yeah, there's never enough, man. Let's
Okay
go.
then.
Yes, Ben. Get in the zone.
Oh my god.
Weeaboo activated.
Somebody, Kyle, I don't know if you can do this while we're going, but somebody wants us to check the focus on the camera.
Oh, I mean.
That's Ian's style.
Oh, that's it,
Yeah,
Ian.
the camera's a little bit out of focus. None of us
Backdoor
have,
shady deals.
have messed with it yet, so.
I know.
here we
I do
go.
know Ian was complaining about how
no.
that
Oh,
focus
here we
works, but
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
Ben Moore, sword time.
None of us
Blowerth, I'm pointing this one right at
Kyle
you.
do this.
You're pointing it at me?
I'm pointing it at you, yeah, like a gun.
Like a gun.
There should just be a button on there.
Have you ever-
There should just be on the side.
No, it's definitely a thing on the screen.
Usually it's just that stupid little button. Zelda,
want cap the chairs?
Save the day.
Save video games.
Save E3.
Oh, there we go.
Well, Kyle's in focus, they said.
Focusing it.
All
What's this
right.
big Zelda coin? Naruto and Sasuke.
Sasuke.
Yeah.
Joneses, man.
Oh, yeah, he's a
Look at the stream. Check it.
Sasuke.
Check it. Check
I'll
the
put
tape.
this back
Dude, you
here.
doing a Orochimaru impression?
Oh man, that was hype.
Oh my god.
Unleash, Ben.
I can't tell it.
feel like
Ben, please, you're killing me right now.
I feel like I'm about to go Super Saiyan. Okay, so today
They told us
on
better.
stage,
Okay, there we go.
John Harden delivered 12 minutes of Persona 5 footage. He took us through an entire day of Persona 5. And I have watched every trailer at least 10 times. That's not an exaggeration. It's not something I'm saying to get people excited. I have watched every single trailer 12 times, and that the gameplay
Oh my
today.
gosh, it's worse.
They're wrong. They're so wrong.
Just keep going.
No, Blood, you're
Continue.
the one who-
Interrupting his flow, damn it! Let the man speak. Let the prophet take us to Valhalla.
Thank you. Thank you, Kyle. Do you know why I'm dressed up today, Blaze?
No, actually.
I'm dressed up for Persona. And today, we saw, like, they dropped so much information on Persona. And the first thing I want to talk about, I want to open with the biggest, most awesome thing to me. Because you guys are casuals, and I'm not saying that as an insult, I'm just saying it as a statement of fact.
Fair.
None of you have played the Shin Megami Tensei games.
Sure.
So you don't understand the importance of this. But one of the things that makes Shin Megami Tensei so cool is that you can negotiate with demons. Okay? So you see these things, these hellspawn.
Yes.
Okay? And they're tough. They can rip you to shreds. But you say no. Let's cut a deal.
Death Note style.
That's right. Thank you, Huber. And you can convince them to go away. You can convince them to give you things. Or they run off. In Persona, this is how you acquire new personas. And you know how you do it, Huber? I saved this one for you.
Okay.
Do you know what it says? You're thieves. Bonnie and Clyde. Gangsters. It says, hold up. all of the characters pull out their guns
On the demon.
on the demon, and the screen in bright, bold text says, "Hold up." And you go through dialogue with the demon, and then when you get it, your mask, blue flame. Persona get!
Wait, what if you fail it? What if you fail the hold up? Can you fail it?
Well, you might as well just shut off the game then. So, that's not all. And before I go on, I need to talk a little bit about Persona 4 and Persona 3. I love those games. They're near and dear to my heart. I don't need to say that. It's like saying water is wet. But, the combat is a little too simplistic. Do you know what combat is mostly in the Persona games? It's finding a weak point, hitting it, doing an all-out attack, moving on to the next battle. Persona 5 knows that. And these demon negotiations are just part of the fun. It gets better. It gets deeper. Do you know how? Tell me, do you know how? I need an answer.
Stealth.
I'm going to give you a half-word hug for that. The way it gets better is something called passing off the baton. So imagine you and I are in battle. This is easily able... You can imagine this, right?
Yeah.
I can at least.
Okay.
I can imagine human
Alright, so
battle,
We're in a
yes.
turn-based battle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we do is I can choose... This is a turn-based RPG.
I'm psyching up.
Yes. Yes. What you do is I can pass my turn to you. If I do that, my capabilities go away. I can't do anything for another turn, which means I have to take another enemy action. But you get stronger. Your attacks are more powerful. This is another decision that you're going to have to make. So think about something like Bravely Default for a second, where you have to decide, okay, I'm fighting this enemy. How should I manipulate this system to be the most efficient to do the most damage? Or even potentially, maybe there are some enemies that require you to pass off your turn. So on top of the negotiations, which I think is fantastic, this is another thing that will make battles way more than just spamming the spell that they're weak to. And I think that's super, super, super awesome. But you don't play Persona for battles, do you?
No.
You play.
I play it to date.
To date.
I play it to go to school. I play it to shop. Eat some ramen.
Huber. When I say I love you, that's not a joke.
Like, do Blood and I need to be here? Like, should we all leave the room right now? Should we give these guys some privacy? You know, like maybe we should stop the stream for 20 minutes and just kind of let them work this out.
I'm playing Persona 4 tonight.
So we already know that in Persona 5, they're the Phantom Thieves, right? They're this group that sneak into these palaces. So that's kind of like the other world in Persona 4, or the tower in Persona 3. These are called palaces. That's your other dimension. And what they do that is the palaces are from people. They're from human beings. There's something wrong with these people, and they go into the palace to figure that out. It's like a mystery. They're solving a crime. But what I love about it is it combines, it's not just like some abstract thing. It's not always just like some murderous villain. It's not some anime cliche here. There's a teacher in Persona 5 that wants to expel you. And what you do is you go to her, I don't know if it's a her or him, you go to their palace to figure this out and prevent them from expelling you.
That actually, the reasons for the dungeons in Persona 4 was always my favorite part.
Yeah.
You're like you're trying to solve the case, but anytime you like got to the end and the like boss's story, it was like always so much more than like generic anime cliche or I am a bad guy for bad guy's sake. It always had some deeper meaning.
Right.
Ben Moore, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely you
Did
can.
they show any of the Persona fusing?
No, I did not see a single second of Persona fusing. Yeah, that's something that maybe I missed in the trailer, but I was watching it as hard as my eyeballs would let me, and I didn't see anything.
Did Igor reveal himself?
I did not see Igor. I did not see the Velvet Room at all. Ooh. Or the Velvet Room attendants that we have seen in other trailers. What they did emphasize, though, like I said, they took you through a day of Persona 5. So they took you through the day-to-day activities. And in Persona 3 and 4, those day-to-day activities were cute. That's the word I'm going to use for them. You would go and you would do them, and text would come up on the screen and be like, oh, you read a book. and they would like make fun of Twilight or something, or it was just like it was usually pretty quick. Or you would go to a movie and then it would cut to black and you come out and you and your friend would talk about the movie for a second. In Persona 5, they are showing you doing these actions in a way that I think gives them so much more weight. So your cat, one of the things that helps with that is your cat, Morgana, is always with you. So when you're going to a restaurant and sitting down, she's in your bag and her tail will come up out of the bag or things like that. And so what I like about that is it's kind of like a buddy cop dynamic. You know, you always have something to bounce off of. You always have somebody trading quips with you. I think it adds a little bit more personality to the game. But the other thing is they showed a scene with you kicking back in a movie screen. You could hear the movie in the background and like you could see popcorn and stuff, and it was just like, oh man,
I like it.
Like these little touches, like Persona 4 already felt like an incredibly lived-in world, and actually getting to see these activities in greater detail will only enhance that.
I know you can like work at the convenience store and like a flower delivery man.
Yeah, and a fast food place.
I really hope I can work at the movie theater.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm
Just
kind
like
of
some popcorn mini game, like shaking up some popcorn for someone.
I thought of you and I thought I want Huber to get a day job where he's driving a forklift. That's what I want.
Yes.
Bradley
More
Ellis.
questions for you, buddy.
Okay, more questions. Hit me.
Talk to me about the dungeons a little more, the stealth element in it.
Bradley Ellis.
Yeah, that
you are
actually-
a master.
Very
Why am I
interesting.
not on
Yeah.
that table right now? Oh,
Come on.
hurry up there!
You got up. All right.
Persona.
I have a quick question before you're done. Just
Yes.
to add one point of relevance that I'm curious. Persona 4 was on what console?
PS2.
PS2 and Vita.
PS2 originally.
PS2.
And then Vita.
So
better
the Persona series skipped the PS3.
We haven't seen Persona on an HD console.
So how does it look? I mean, we know how it looks, but I mean, now you got to see more than 10 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
How does it look?
Can I state?
It's also
can
on
I,
PS3.
It is also on
Oh,
PS3.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Can I state a little bit of concern?
Oh, okay.
I think it looks fantastic.
No,
Everything.
I don't
Compromise.
want. Yeah, I don't want this.
You don't want the fluff.
I don't want concern.
You don't want the fluff.
I don't want concern, Ben.
You don't want concern at all.
I want to stay high.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Give it to her.
Give me the concern.
So they've shown video when you're walking around town and stuff, and you just see silhouettes of like NPCs milling around, and it kind of fades in and out of like everything else, and it's just like this shape, like this gray shape, and I think that could work thematically, and I haven't seen it in its full context, so maybe it won't bother me. But I'm like,
Compromise.
I want everything. I want everything in that lush style. I want it to be consistent. And so I could be overreacting to that. Like I said, I haven't played the game myself. But yeah, that's something where I'm like, maybe this is kind of a bummer. I can't say with any certainty whatsoever that the PS3 version is holding it back, so I shouldn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
But these thoughts spring up in your mind.
All right. Thank you, Ben Moore.
Yeah.
I'll say for you, it is.
Compromise.
Back.
Bradley Ellis.
Bradley Ellis, I'm glad you're here, man.
I got pumped up when you're talking, dude. Let's go.
Don't hit the table, please.
Did anybody eat ramen?
Super close to the camera.
No, I don't think so. I need to check the tapes on that.
Kyle.
Ben Moore.
Bradley
More questions for you as long as you're willing to answer.
Oh, Brad.
Tell me a little about the new cast that we got going on.
So that was something that was really de-emphasized in the gameplay. It really just highlighted the protagonist. You did see a lot of your buddy, and something that I want. Again, this is a Michael Huber, Bradley Ellis kind of hype up thing. Apparently, you and your best friend, your Yosuke figure, okay?
Yosuke.
Your Junpei.
Yeah, or Junpei, if you would. You just like go off and buy airsoft guns. Can you I don't know what shenanigans you get up to with that. I don't know what they're used for. But I like the idea because the Persona 4 cast and much of the Persona 3 cast is kind of these like clean cut, like we want to do good characters. Not that they don't get into scuffles here and there, but I like the idea of kind of these like punkish rebels.
Yeah.
These like I'm going to get expelled in school. Let's go buy airsoft
Society
guns.
outcasts.
Yeah. I think that's such a cool shift in tone. It can honestly make these characters even more exciting than what we've seen in the past.
All right, what else you got? Keep going,
You
man.
mentioned stealth, Bradley Ellis.
Oh yeah,
we
let's
gotta get
hear
the
it.
stealth.
I read an article on GameSpot.com, and they said random encounters are more difficult than they've been in other Persona games. I don't know where they're getting this information. This could just be pure speculation, but that makes a little bit sense to me because what they really highlighted in the sort of dungeon exploration battle sections of the trailer is that you can climb up on rafters to either potentially avoid enemies or get the jump on them, or you can get behind cover and you can dash from cover point to cover point,
the dash.
which is what we saw from the first trailer. The reason you do that, okay, is you can sneak up behind an enemy, and this is what you do to initiate. Like you got him, you jump, you like flip up on top of them. Your character puts his hand on their mask, he rips it off. Black ink spills on the ground. And then from that ink, I don't know if it's ink, it could be just shadow goo, whatever it is.
Shadow goo.
The enemies form from that.
Dude.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
And I realize this sounds like a little thing, and I don't think words do it justice, but I'm going to try my best. What I love about Persona 5 is it takes those moments that everybody's seen a million times, like how many RPGs have you played where you finish the battle and they do their little victory dance and like, yes, for anime? And
a million times.
Yeah, they do that stuff. And then you just see like a static window that it's like, you got a potion and some gold and shit. In Persona 5, they make that exciting. Like, you see your best friend character fall down on his head, and then it's like 80s like heavy metal graffiti, and he's like, yeah, and then you get like your experience and stuff. Or the characters keep moving. They don't stop. It's not a static thing. Like your lady friend is sitting on the ground, and you tap her on the shoulder, and you start walking, and as you're walking, that stuff comes up on the screen. It just
great.
pops.
Does it do the same thing in 4 where like the winner kind of gets like the victor, or the person who gets the last hit kind of gets like the victory sang?
The victory shot?
Victory quip?
Based on what I saw, it does kind of seem like they do sort of go around and highlight different characters and things like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but again, like, I'm so worried that I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and like somebody from Atlas is gonna be like, "You got everything wrong." I've just based on articles that I've read and trailers that I've got. This
Don
is the
Harden is
information.
watching right now.
This is the information that I have. So I'm trying my best. There might be.
You're doing great, Ben.
There might be some inaccuracies here.
Keep feeding me. Keep feeding me info.
Keep feeding you info.
Need more.
Do you want to keep going, or what do you think?
We're going all night.
Well, we
No, I
are
don't-
probably going all night.
I don't
but we got a
wanna-
lot of games.
I don't want to monopolize the whole thing, and I feel bad because I mean, like, those guys got up and they all played Zelda, and they could just go into their experiences and stuff. And I'm really just talking about a totally gameplay thing. I am honestly running out of things to say. The only other thing I want to mention is, in addition to your like the jobs that you can do and get on the side and things like that, and side activities. You also, in typical Persona fashion, you go back to your residence, and like
Best part.
I saw him doing
Best part.
push-ups, and it seemed like you had to like actively engage in the push-ups somehow.
Oh,
like, it
they
was,
don't just do it automatically anymore?
like it was some sort of mini game, or maybe it's just based on stats that you have, because like the cat seemed like it was saying like, oh, you got this many push-ups and things like that. And so again, they're just like taking these things and enhancing them and making them more engaging and stuff like that.
Do you get a villainous vibe from the cast? Do you feel like they're villains?
No, I don't think so. Like,
Are they like Robin Hoods, or is it
More
just
mischievous.
yeah, the word I want to use for them is troublemakers. Like,
Okay.
Pepe.
like, you know,
Pepe.
Yeah.
like, yes, Pepe, classic Pepe syndrome.
Got it.
Yeah. I don't think they're actually bad characters that we'll root against or will do anything.
They're
super
teenagers.
sly. They're teenagers, exactly.
that's it? That's the explanation. They're teenagers.
The last thing I want to end on, and I'm honestly super excited about this. I am so stoked. In Persona 3, and people are going to be like, why aren't you talking about Persona 2 and Persona 1? Because I feel like Persona 5 is an evolution of this 3D graphical style that was introduced in Persona 3. Persona 2 and 1 are great games in their own right. Please forgive me. But anyway, in Persona 3, there wasn't really that much exploration of the world around you. It was basically school in the tower with things littered in between. Persona 4, you got to explore Inaba. And Inaba was a place that, like, I would leave my doors unlocked. You know what I mean? Like, just this
Safe
good
community.
vibe.
Small
Like,
town feel.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, just this small town feel where
Neighbors
it feels like
planting
everybody knows your
crops.
name. Yeah, exactly. What I liked about what they showed in the Persona 5 trailer is there was this dirt, there was this grime. It just felt sleazy and gross, and like you don't know what's around the next corner. And like you see these businessmen like getting onto the train, and their shoulders are slumped, and they just look depressed. And it's just a much harsher vibe, but one that I think is equally interesting and in a way that I want to explore, because I don't feel like I'm just going to be uncovering the same things. Like, I think this is going to be a darker game, but maybe not necessarily because of the characters, but because of this city that they're in. They're in Tokyo, and I think, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they got involved or mixed up in organized crime. Like, imagine that.
Speaking of Tokyo
Oh my god, I can't handle this.
and organized
Oh, what a segue.
crime,
What a segue.
I'm walking through the halls of E3 2016, and it's packed. Wall-to-wall people, absolute chaos. It's day one, 11:30, or no, 12:05 p.m. Doors had just opened. Every station was full. Everyone just clamoring for games. Picture Jingle All the Way.
Ravenous.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, actually, when the doors open, it can get a little
Okay.
crazy.
So I got an appointment in 25 minutes. So I'm just looking for something nice and quick to kind of
Quick hit.
kind of dive into. Looking for something, just any open station. So I look in front of me. I'm over in Sony. There's just people everywhere. Again, every station is filled. And I look over at the one open booth. And what is it? It's Yakuza 0.
Yeah!
No one playing it.
Disrespect.
A tear just comes from my eye.
No one was playing it.
No one is even looking at it. There was this one little attendant standing there just looking around,
Looking for a player.
begging for someone. And I rush up. I'm like, it's okay. The dragon of Dojima will rise.
Did you actually say that?
What are you
I did. Of course I did.
Good man.
I don't make this up.
Well, I've known you for a long time.
So I started up. And you can choose Kazuma or Majima.
Oh!
Immediately I say, all right, maybe the dragon won't rise. I gotta be Majima here. So she's like, okay, all right. So I hop in, and it feels like home again. You're in Sawatobi, or however you pronounce it, okay? And I have just been waiting to tell you about this, Ben Moore, okay? So you're Majima, you dive in, you're on the bridge, and the thing about Yakuza is, you revisit these towns, and it always looks the same, so it has that nostalgic feeling. So I'm like on the bridge, immediately everything is recognizable, and like there's a quest guy in front of me, so I go up, I click on him, and Majima's like, "The hell is this? This guy's like a statue. This is a statue?" And it's the street performer, like looking like a mud statue man, and Majima is just super confused. And he like pokes it, and the street performer's like, "Hey man, why are you poking me?" So like you just get this conversation. It starts out really quirky and jolly, and then the street performer's like, "My whole life, I've wanted to be a street performer. This is my chance to prove to my son that I have what it takes. I'll be here, and I'm not gonna move." And Majima, just this epic conversation, just those moments in Yakuza.
This is the first conversation you
this
get
is
into in
first
the
conversation.
game.
Yeah, yes. So after that, I'm like, all right, see a little quest. Again, time is short. Okay, I got a meeting coming up. So I'm like, all right, I want to get in a fight. Let's go. Let's brawl. So I'm like looking in the back alleys, waiting for somebody to say, "Hey," you know how they do, and like charge at you. So I get in a fight. Now the fighting hasn't changed except for one crucial detail. When you beat people up, money flies out of them! Just cash raining on the screen. I picked up a briefcase and slammed this thug, and money just rained everywhere. So I've got my cash, I've done a quest, I've beat some thugs up. I'm like, I got all this cash now. What am I gonna do with this?
Gamble!
So I'm looking for a gambling spot, right? So I go into the nearest building. I think it's a gambling den. I'm like, all right, this is for Don.
Yeah.
It's not a gambling shop. It's a dance club. So I go in, I talk to the DJ. Enter this rhythm game. And let me tell you about this rhythm game. This rhythm game alone could be sold separately as an add-on game. It's that good. You have to... Whoa! Like, there's a huge grid. First, Majima 2 is like dancing. It's like really jolly jig.
Does he actually do the disco?
Yes.
Okay.
Disco lights everywhere. There's this grid and directional symbols. The PlayStation symbols will pop up on the grid with like the cursor going down, and then you have to press it at the right time. You have to move over to each symbol in the least amount of moves. So, like, the least amount of moves over to get the most points, and then you press it at the right time. So things are popping up everywhere, so you have to find the right path and push it at the same time. It was difficult.
How do you process that calculation while notes are flying?
Exactly. It was so good. Finished the disco. Said thank you very much. That was Yakuza 0. It's fantastic. I'm like, I can't wait to talk about that. That was like the highlight.
Thank you very much, everybody. We're Easy Allies. Have a good time.
No, we're not done. We're so
Jones, you want to get up here now?
so far from being done.
Blood's hungry.
No,
Hubert.
Jones, you want to get there? Your son talks to the All right, fine.
No one has ever talked about video games that well before.
Right. I'm intimidated, actually. I like.
That was amazing.
That was inspirational on YouTube. This is the most hype I've been in a long time.
Nobody was playing it.
It's like if that's what like an offhand kiosk visit from Huber is like what's an appointment like?
Can you imagine when he plays Shenmue 3? Listen.
Cheers.
Money!
The money flying, dude.
Oh
I just
my
had the
God.
biggest smile on my face.
Huber, I'm gonna record that Yakuza 0 talk. That's how fucked up I am right now. The Yakuza 0 talk. I'm gonna put it on my phone, and every night before I go to bed, I'm gonna hit play and put that underneath my pillow.
I would wake up to that.
Yeah.
I'd wake up to
We
that.
go back tomorrow and play as Kazuma.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2 Kazuma. All right, Blood. What do you got?
What do we got?
What do you got,
I've got
Bubba?
a bunch of stuff. I want to start off. Actually, I want to start off with something that I'm probably gonna have you carry more of. I'll get the lesser stuff out of the way first. But it's Deus Ex. Yes. Like I was pumped. Deus Ex is one of the games like that I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, you are.
There's a couple of downers for me though here.
Ooh, starting off low. Let's get
So
it out
that's
of
why
the way.
I start low.
right.
I'll start medium. Let's start medium.
Okay.
Medium.
I got to play Deus Ex Go.
Cool.
And you've played Lara Croft Go, right?
Yep.
I've played Deus Ex Go,
Oh, you've played Deus Ex Go.
which we can
Wow.
right.
Okay.
Damiani,
Cool.
I didn't just break an embargo. We can talk about it right now.
Yeah, we're good.
Damiani and I attended the and Ben was there as well. Attended the.
I showed up.
Yeah.
You're floating around.
In fact, I might have dreamt it, but I think Ben was there. We attended the Square Enix Judges Week event. Unfortunately, was not a judge this year, but was able to go to the Square Enix event and played some Deus Ex Go. Played Deus Ex as well. But curious what your concerns are.
I don't actually have concerns with Deus Ex Go. Actually, I think Deus Ex Go is great. It's just not as it doesn't have the hype as much,
Sure.
But it's a game that I want to play through. I really enjoyed the Lara Croft game last year, surprisingly so. And you can imagine like a similar type of thing. You have these pathways that serve as puzzles to like try to figure out how to navigate your way through the end. But now instead of pushing pillars and avoiding snakes, you have Adam Jensen moving around these pathways and trying to sneak up behind guards in some very simplistic ways. But if you cross into the line of sight, like the line that the guard is looking down, he will start coming towards you, and it's essentially turn-based. So you've got that many however many nodes there are between you and the guard. That's how long you have to like get out of his way. So you can get around the backside of a guard, and take him out, or you can essentially lure a guard into a space so that you can go around him if you have enough turns to do that. And then you can kind of use these different traps. So there are turrets in there that you can get it to a hacking terminal, and then you trace the line to what you want to hack. So you can trace the line to a turret,
Cool.
and then if the turret is on the line of sight as the guard, the turret will shoot the guard.
But sometimes you have to activate the node that you need to move your finger across to activate the hack. You know.
Yeah. So then there's also
there were some puzzles that had like 10 nodes, and I would stare at it for 10 minutes. I'm just like, I have no idea. It's so
Really?
simple. It's like 2 guards and 1 thing, and like, what am I supposed to do here?
So there's parts. There are also parts of the map that are they're sort of like platforms you have to raise. And
I
the
didn't get that far.
thing about a terminal is when you're hacking, it can only activate one thing at a time. So you have to either activate that turret or you have to activate that platform. And so that's where some of the tricks come in. So you could actually one of the ways to get to an ending, I think, was you could activate a platform and then move up to get the guard to see you, start coming your way, and then move down and then deactivate the platform so he couldn't return to his patrol point. And then you could go back around that way. And so there's a lot of just building on that. So again, not a very like exciting game in a way,
It's
but
no Yakuza 0. I mean, there's no question.
It's definitely a game that will keep you thinking and build on its complexity. And there are definitely moments where like, okay, I've got to die a couple of times to figure out how this space works.
And I gotta say, like, when they first announced Hitman, it was like, oh, it's a very simplistic, almost kind of like 1960s looking Hitman, you know? And like, I was kind of looking at like at a model or something, and like really weird that they took, or just unusual that they took, you know, the kind of Hitman aesthetic and like kind of poured it into this new thing. And then Lara Croft comes along, and yeah, there's trees and jungle and rocks and stuff like that, but it still kind of fits a simplistic design. And Deus Ex fits it beautifully, you know, like Deus Ex, like the platform you're on is like all the little triangles, you know, and it's the aesthetic is really great.
And then they have some nice little like background elements. Like there's one spot I remember particularly that had like some floating picture frames to like give you the idea that you're in a manor, but you don't get the full impression of it. It's just enough to give you the feel of a location. But then so then I did the thing with Huber, but before we get to that. After Huber left, I went over and I played the new thing they announced, Breach. Which the best way to explain it would be sort of like Metal Gear VR missions. But I'm not really
down.
feeling it.
Okay.
It's a weird thing to me because everything is all like whites and grays and like some highlighted colors. And the setup is that there is this like central bank where all these servers are that are hiding this data that is basically like all of the corporations like dirty secrets. And so and it's super secure, and everyone talks about how like it's fruitless to go and try to hack into this. Everyone keeps trying and nobody does it. But then there's the breach, and then the breach is like how you get in, and then they like hire like they have all these people that are working to like get in there and try to extract as much data as they can. And basically what these levels work out to are like they work out to be time trials, which is it's bothersome to me because it's a stealth game, and with a stealth game I want to work out a cool way to get through a level, even if it's all wireframing and stuff. I don't really want to rush through it, but because of the score feels like it's so much based on time.
But isn't that a cool dynamic when you like couple it with the main game, because the main game is such a deliberately slow pace, conversations, stealthing your way through, analyzing, just really, really slow, and then you have this breach where you can kind of go in and like play Deus Ex faster.
But it's still very like it's strange because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to these servers and then like push the square button on the server, download the thing, and then find all the servers in a level, and then the level security activates and knows you're there, and then shuts off all of the doors that you went through, and so you have to find alternate routes to get back before the timer runs out. And if the timer runs out, then you just have to repeat the level. And then another thing that I found kind of strange is when when you complete a level, then you get, they literally call them booster packs. Yeah. Like you get a set of random cards that could be praxis points to like unlock and augment or weapon or ammo or healing item. And I don't know. It's just like it all.
The whole mode Bloodworth just screams filler.
But it is encased into the game. This isn't DLC. This isn't something you gotta buy
Right.
separately. This will come
This-
with Mankind Divided.
Yeah.
It's filler.
Yeah, so it's one thing that was in there that I hadn't seen in the main games, and that makes me wonder whether this is exclusive to Breach or if it's just an augment I hadn't seen. But there was a multi jump. There was like a double jump in there.
Nice.
There you
So
go.
I hadn't seen that in Mankind Divided. But yeah, so I don't know. Jury's still kind of out. I went through the entire Breach demo that they had there, but it just, and I think part of it too is just the aesthetic, because it feels like a half step in a way, because a lot of the animations, like the takedown animations and stuff, like even though I'm dealing with like all these, flat polygon characters, I still felt like this is the Adam Jensen takedown animation that you just have different characters on, and there weren't like a lot of like, there didn't feel like it was challenging to get past enemies anyways. So I don't know. We'll have to see if it gets better in the long run, but yeah, we'll move on to the meat of it, which is the Dubai demo.
Yes.
Which it was slightly disappointing for me because I played that back in the fall, but it was really fun to sit there and watch you play it. So that's I want to get your impressions of this level.
First of all, Adam Jensen, the first game, he didn't ask for it. So, like, first game, he's trying to come to terms with his Augs and uncover the mystery and kind of find his place within the world. And just right from the beginning of Mankind Divided, that he's already been through all that. He feels like a cowboy now. Like this mythical Clint Eastwood
Gun for hire
lone wolf cowboy.
He's definitely a lone
I'm just
wolf. Yeah.
so into the vibe. Like, I've always loved Adam Jensen. Like, cool, one of my favorite characters. So cool. And this, he's just such a badass. Like, the dynamic in the first level, you're like part of this team. You're the only Aug, which is cool. So you're kind of like the superhero.
Yeah.
And just the banter you have, like, straight out of the gate with, this wannabe tough guy with like the scar on his face. He's like, yo, so Aug, you gonna get rowdy down there? And Jensen's just like, I don't know. Paching, like, he pulls his blade out right up into his throat, and he goes, but if I do, you'll be the first to find out. Just like tough guy Jensen, but not like in a weird I'm a badass way. Just like he does it so smoothly, kind of like a Bond. Just like a mix between a James Bond and a cowboy.
He doesn't have anything to prove.
He's got nothing to prove.
I like that a lot.
I love it so much. So, like, what's cool too is the commander of the mission is kind of going through, telling his team like what's about to happen and giving you information about the scenario. And I just love that it's not just some simple menu. Some like giving it to you in a loading screen or anything
Or a
like that.
dossier or something, yeah.
They're giving it to you in real time, like on the plane. So then when you get down there, you just have this like context, Bossman. You just have this full awareness of the present situation on the ground.
Of the building. They show you the whole building,
Yeah.
the blueprints and everything. So
Yeah.
you know where your objective is, you know how far it is.
Yeah.
You see it and you can go there.
You see it,
And and there's two different options, right?
Well done.
Well, yeah. So
Of
like,
where to go, of like how to like go into the mission, or do they? Give
well,
you
there's the
they
level
do
design. The
stealth
level
or-
design gives you a lot of options, but
He goes full big boss, jumps out of the plane.
Yeah, they like rocket you down to
Yeah.
the rooftop.
But no, I think what you're
So,
referencing is
yeah.
you have the options of just like in Human Revolution, you can either pick your weapon as being
That's
lethal
what
or
it was,
non-lethal,
yeah.
and then short range or long range.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you have to play it that way. That's just the weapon you're going to start with. Like Huber went with the tranquilizer. Rifle.
Tranquilizer sniper, OP. Pick 'em
Except
off
you don't
with
get
just
you don't get a lot of
Just like Metal
ammo.
Gear.
You know,
You
the
don't
other
go
guys
around.
don't carry around
Yeah.
tranquilizer darts, so you have to be careful with that ammo.
And there's a lot of guys. You can't just drop a guy who's standing in front of 3 other guys.
Yeah.
And they'll. Whoa.
So briefly, just to kind of get through this quickly and move it along, I loved that resources were limited. They don't give you a lot of ammo even when you knock a guy out. For the non-lethal, especially, you're not gonna find tranquilizer darts in this base, which is cool. So you have to use them sparingly. Also, too, if you want to knock someone out stealth, that uses power, which you can run out of. So you really have to avoid conflict if you want to go non-lethal.
Well, one thing that was really getting, like, I was doing my best not to be backseat Bloodworth, and I actually never did give Huber any direction.
Yeah.
But watching, one thing that was painfully watching is Huber was using the quote unquote detective mode a lot, and that just sucks your battery right down.
Sucks
It's like,
it down.
boom. And like,
I
Huber,
like
you
that
got to
it
stop doing
brings-
that.
So, but E3 show floor, chaos, can barely even hear out of these headphones. So like, and I wanted to mix it up. So I started stealth. Then I was like, all right,
They
I'm
actually-
gonna
one thing
use
that
the
bugged me about this-
Typhoon, go guns blazing.
One thing that bugged me about the setup, just briefly in terms of like what it's like playing on the show floor, they had, for some reason, they had like these zip ties around the controller so no one would steal them, and they would push the button on the stupid touchpad.
So it was a
on the
weird
PS.
setup.
Yeah.
But the best part about the demo, for me, and then watching Bloodworth do it, I want to get to that, which was super cool. The end of the demo comes. Spoilers if you don't want to know the end of the first level, apparently, of Mankind Divided. You get to the end. This whole time, it's like a Ghost Protocol situation where this huge sandstorm is coming. They tell you about it straight out of the gate.
And the building that you're in was never finished being constructed.
Yeah.
And so there's no windows, so sand's blowing through this building. There's lots of tarps flapping and
So the sandstorm hits. You're supposed to meet up with this contact, this undercover agent. He's gonna do a deal with this other guy. Meeting is about to go down. Other guy is revealed to be a spy. He's wearing this awesome cloaking device.
No. That's a third guy. They come out of nowhere from behind them.
All these other people come out of nowhere. Huge shootout goes down. Sandstorm hits. People with AUGs come in. Third party. Multi-faction battle going on. So it's like, all right, protect the informant down there in real time. It's like, protect him, get down there. So there's a sandstorm, a ton of guys, and I again, was taking it kind of slow, chaos, E3, whatever. Go down, kill a bunch of guys, just having fun. Contact dies. Just dead.
Yeah.
Guy comes in on the radio like, good job, you idiot Jensen. You let him die. What the hell are you doing? Just the level of stakes, the high stakes factor was there. It felt so tense. Everything is so meaningful in Deus Ex.
But you didn't get a game over screen, right? Like it kept going. Like that's what happened, and now your story can.
And it can't be understated, like how much that sandstorm like completely changes, because you have AUGs that can see through that, getting ready to attack you. But unless you use your augmented sight, you can't see where they're at. It's just too crazy.
Like Deus Ex 1, so long ago, has one of the most epic moments of can you save a life or not. Like, this character can die or live, and it does it in such a subtle way. It's not like I was having this conversation with Brad, just the way Deus Ex treats its choice and consequences in a very organic, seamless way. It's not just Paragon Renegade, choose this, choose that. Everything happens seamlessly within the environment without overtly telling you of the direct consequences, which is just, it's beautiful.
I have one question that's been bugging me since I saw the Deus Ex presentation at the event that Brandon and Damiani and I went to. And maybe it's hard to get this sense during a demo that focuses on gameplay, but I want to see if it's a concern for you as well. So they showed a trailer where it basically highlighted like, oh man, are augmentations bad? Are they should we like get rid of all of them? And it was just like
The live action one?
yeah, and it was like oh, my wife is an augmented human, and now we're fighting. And I'm not trying to be cynical here, but man, if I had to list like sci-fi tropes, are cyborgs or augmented humans or robots, whatever, this us versus them dynamic, like humans versus technology, like it's just been so done that I feel like if there isn't a twist here, that part is gonna bum me out.
Of course, there's two things that I kind of excuse it for. One is that we're leading towards the events of Deus Ex, which came out so long ago.
Right.
And two, that's like main story, kind of everything that's happening. It's all about what's happening down here with Jensen.
Okay. That's a very good point.
And his struggle. It's very much his story and his role within it all. That is what I love.
Gotcha. So you're saying, like, even if you don't like that top layer, there's so much cake for you to bite into.
Exactly.
Okay. So how did Blood own this demo?
Cake. So then Blood is like, all right, I played this demo. Like, let me show you this here. I want to show you this other way to do it.
Because Huber was going, he was going
I just
behind
went
boxes.
linear path.
He was just taking the tranks out, shooting guys in the head, and then when he ran out of tranks,
which is not how I play Deus Ex at all.
I'll just shoot him in the head with a pistol. Taking down everyone in his path.
Yeah. Which is not how I do it. I usually go like no death runs. But then Bloodworth plays.
Yeah. What did you get out of that?
So Bloodworth plays, and I remember when you leapt. So I'm in a shootout and like chaos is happening and I like run around and I see this vent up there and I'm like trying to jump up and I can't get in. I'm like, oh, screw it. So then I go back and like start doing my thing. So then Bloodworth plays and he like gets to that point and he just like moves a box and then like jumps up the box and jumps in the vent and proceeds to just go around the entire level in a vent, bypassing nearly everything, and it felt so. I turned to Bloodworth. I'm like, Bloodworth, it feels like you're breaking the game. It felt like he was out of bounds. That's how like secret and cool the vents were.
Yeah.
I just have like the smug blood
He's just
in my brain right now.
He's just like, going through these vents.
What a cool E3 demo you brought.
Even on the mini map, his like icon is moving out of bounds. It was so good.
Well, one thing I had fun with there that I enjoyed was I had the stun gun too, because since you went tranks, I went stun gun. One thing I went, because it's not like I'm just in a vent the whole time going, but there's a series of them that you find, and doors that you go through, and just like off to the side, and there's one point where there's a guy, so you go off the vent, and then there's like scaffolding there, and then there's a guy patrolling back and forth, and like, well, I've got to get past this guy. There's not like a super clean way to do it, but you just like grab something, throw it down the stairs. Let him go by.
That was so funny.
And then the cover. What I really love is like the cover system in this is so much improved. Like I just played a little bit of Human Revolution for
It's rough.
for the retrospective capture. Cover system in this is so much better because you get a nice clean line to show where you're going and where you're going to stick to, and so you can quickly like, okay, I'm getting into cover, and then I pop forward, and then I can get behind the next guy. And then get through there before this guy comes back up the stairs.
Cool.
And then what's interesting is that there's an optional objective in that level that you will only see if you start going through these back areas. And then the captain or whatever will come on the radio and he'll say, "Hey, there's a signal beacon or a radio booster or something like that. Can you shut that down while you're over there?"
Side objectives.
And I don't know what the consequence of that is exactly, but I think that is something that plays into a bit later on.
Also, Hubert, to bounce on what you were saying earlier about just tension and just like the pressure rising as going through the mission. One of the guys that was giving you objectives. At one point, when I was playing through it, I don't know if I was just like taking my sweet time, but the team was waiting for me to do something. Like there was like an elevator you had to shut down, or there was like an exit that they would have likely taken if you had attacked, that you were going to shut off. So if they go to like try to use the elevator, it doesn't work. And so like the whole rest of the team, so you're not the only person doing it, you got all these other guys on the mission with you, can't do anything until you get there. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I gotta go really slow. And they're just yelling at me like, "Jensen, why are you taking so long? We're waiting for you. Get there." And just tense.
Yeah.
That was like the only thing I didn't like about that demo. Was like I wish I could just like really take my time
Me
into
too,
this.
yeah.
And,
Hard
not
set.
because the game didn't allow it, but because like I'm at this event.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Well,
that's
that's
what
the
I
thing.
said.
Like I'm going off of the luxury of I played this level 3 or 4 times.
Right.
You know, back in October, whenever that was. You know, when we were just like
Must be nice.
at their offices, and it's like, okay, you've got 2 levels. Play them as much as you want.
So we spent a lot of time on the last couple of games. I just want to quickly lightning round 2 things I didn't get to play, but I didn't
Sure.
really see anything extra, but I learned some details.
Yeah.
First up, God of War. I have a couple
Yep.
beautiful facts.
I saw a demo. Can I get in on this?
Yes, Kyle, I have the craziest fact about this game that is going to destroy your mind.
What's up?
Okay.
Okay, all right. I'm going to share, man.
You want me to just start on this fact?
Begin with the fact.
Okay, the fact is that from the opening shot of this game till the credits,
How many cuts?
0!
0 cuts.
0 cuts!
Half-Life 2.
0
Half-Life 2 style.
cuts in this entire game.
Wow.
That
We didn't even notice.
Yep.
We didn't even notice.
Yeah.
We watched that whole thing. There were 0 cuts. We didn't even realize.
So Corey Barlog is like talking about the game, and he's just like, yeah, one thing I wanted to do was like.
Oh, you got to hear Corey speak?
that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Cool.
I went up.
He's a cool guy.
I'm like, yo, this is a dream right now.
Yeah.
This is an honor. And he was like, yo, I just hope the game doesn't break. I'm like, even if it does, it's fine.
For those who don't know, Corey Barlog directed God of War 2.
The best.
And then had a really rough career in video games where he would be directing a game that would get canceled. Yeah. And he was working on a Mad Max game that got canceled for a super long time. He wrote it's a great essay about video game design, actually, if you ever want to read it. It's very, very interesting.
Cool.
And here he is, he's back.
Here he is,
with
just
God of War.
stoked. And he's just so jolly. He's like, I really wanted to make sure that everything was just so seamless. So I really wanted to make it no cuts, and the programmers hate my guts, but it's okay. And he was like, you can throw the axe and retrieve it at any time. So it was like, yeah, you can throw it in the beginning of the game, and then just summon it like 2 hours later.
And it
Yeah.
No way!
Yes.
No!
Yes.
No!
He's like the programmers just hate my guts. Yeah.
So man, you can start that game. The first minute you get the
Throw
axe,
it.
throw it like
It's
in
like-
the ground.
Yeah.
Wait till like the very
Yes.
end.
And then yeah, Thor style. Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
That's
Dude.
cool. That's really cool.
So just again, it's we saw the demo was everything we saw. He just said he used the word intimate, which I loved.
Yeah.
Personal story. They purposely didn't show a set piece because he's like, we've proved that we can do them. There's a dedicated like button for the kid. It's like the kid button.
What is the kid button?
Like.
Circle?
I didn't know specifics.
Okay.
But and then he said combat is like the shoulder buttons. Because you think about it too, like even like DMC, you're moving the camera with all like your right thumb, and then you have to come back and use attack. So the camera and attacks, I think, are all
Like a first-person shooter.
yeah.
Like Dark Souls.
Also, yeah, I hope dodge isn't right analog stick anymore. I hope that's been abandoned at this point.
yeah,
It
maybe
has
like
to be 'cause of
R1 or
perspective.
something.
Well,
Yeah.
if you have camera control now, that's new, right?
Yeah, exactly. Story, I pressed him, I pushed him, I was like, tell me. He said, the end of God of War 3, quote, leads to a series of events.
I'm sorry, what? Repeat it. Repeat the whole sentence.
The end of God of War 3 leads to a series of events.
Yes.
This is after God of War 3, 100% drove it home.
Nice.
Little different in the demo was when the kid ran off, he kind of explored a little bit. He went on some different paths. Found a couple items in the world, an armor rune. He hit an idol, like a hidden idol, and it released rare steel, and he found silver as well.
Crafting?
Yeah, crafting. Here's a really good one. Within the world, there are multiple tribes and factions, all with different languages.
Wow.
So that troll was speaking a different language. That's why we only heard a couple words, like Valhalla.
Yeah.
And when he said wait to the kid, he spoke English to try to appeal to the kid to try to like super heavy, right? Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Then you can level up Kratos and the son.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Not sure how that ties in.
Burning question. Is the kid like Ellie or Elizabeth, where they can't be injured and they that's not something you have to be concerned about? Or when you go into battle and the kid is there, can something bad happen to him?
I don't think he can like die permanently. Yeah,
So-
I think it's an Ellie situation.
The
Okay,
demo I saw had the full-on HUD,
Yeah.
and there's no health bar for the kid.
Okay.
There is a health bar for Kratos and
Yeah.
that one for the kid.
Okay.
Then you train him. Obviously, he gets like better. You know, the bow. Like he'll obviously become like a bowman.
Yeah. He'll become a better tracker. We saw his tracking stat go up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then lastly, during the conversation, the rage meter popped up
Yes.
during the conversation with the kid when the deer ran off and Kratos was
Because he shot the
pissed.
bow too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kratos' rage meter went up. So I said, Mr. Barlog, is the rage meter?
Mr. Barlog.
Mr. Barlog, please. There was like a school setting
Yeah.
in this thing. It was
Michael
pretty awesome.
Huber, easy allies.
Yeah. Sir, will the rage meter factor in to like storytelling and
Dialogue.
conversations
Yes.
and
Yes,
dialogue?
Yes.
He's like, I don't want to tell you too much about it, but it is definitely very much about Kratos kind of bottling up the beast. And he just talked about like Greek mythology and Kratos kind of trying to break the cycle of his family, because like all these other games were about, you know, Zeus's father and what Kronos did to Zeus, and then what Zeus did to Kratos, and then what Kratos did to
Ares!
Calliope and Ares, and just all of that. And it's just about Kratos becoming a better person. And he's like, for so many games, we just had Kratos Hulk.
Okay.
He's like,
yeah.
Kratos
Oh
is
my
Hulk.
God.
Like, not anymore. Like, this is a new chance for Kratos at redemption. Like, chill.
Hubert,
Chill.
I know you hold God of War 3 in high regard.
All of them.
And there's a lot of amazing stuff in God of War 3, but
Yeah.
by the time I got to that game, it was an amazing game.
Yeah.
But holy hell was I
Yeah.
sick of Kratos. I felt like when I played the first God of War, I
Yeah.
understood his anger, I understood his rage, and then it was like somebody was just screaming in my face for
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
and eventually that got real old. Does this feel like a brand new Kratos to you?
Brand new Kratos.
That's
it's redemption.
so
It's Kratos, and it
exciting.
makes so much sense within the story. It's because of everything that's happened. It's never too late. It's never too late. That's like how I live my life. It's never too late for anything. It's like every day is a new day, Kratos.
Carpe
Now is the
diem.
time. And then about the mother, he said she is a factor.
She ain't gone.
Not talking about it.
She's not dead.
He's like, we don't want to talk. Well, could be dead, could be alive. He's like, who the child's mother is very important. We're not talking about it.
Interesting.
Spoilers. Yeah.
Cool.
Ooh, Darth Vader situation.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
He's bad, and he's just gotta tell the kids. Better to tell him than he's dead.
Yeah.
the way that I expected them to talk about a new God of War was, all right, this time you're gonna climb a boss and it's gonna take 2 hours. Like, just they always talk about God of War in
Right.
scale. They always talk about God of War in gore.
Yeah.
It's always the same, and they always just try to do this like Mortal Kombat one-upmanship
Yeah.
in like the same most basic style. And now I'm wondering, and I never thought I would say this is a God of War game, is who's the mom? What's going on?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's so exciting, and it's like
Yeah.
Resident Evil too. Like everyone's like, I've seen the internet, you know, kind of a lukewarm response to Resident Evil 7, and it's like these franchises that have been around so long. It's like, let's mix them up.
Yeah.
Not to take shots on Assassin's Creed, because I enjoy Assassin's Creed, but it's like no risk. You know, it's essentially the same game every time.
Right.
And now Resident Evil is reinventing itself yet again. Has already done that. Here, God of War is reinventing itself. Corey came out and he's like, immediately when we knew we were doing a God of War, like, we were not just making another one. We were making a new one.
Yes.
From the ground up.
And
Yes.
you know I have so much respect for Corey and for Sony and just everyone on that team is if you had a franchise like God of War, where like, yeah, we've sold a bazillion units. Yeah, we've seen universal critical acclaim.
We can play it safe.
Yeah, we've got it. We can do this. You just want this beautiful thing that we've already made 4 times. We'll just give it to you again. But they didn't. Like, they had the balls to say, like, no, we can take this thing that you know and love and make it better.
Barlog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say one last thing. This stuff leaked. It leaked that Kratos was going to have a beard and pants. It leaked that it was going to be Norse mythology, and that did not ruin the reveal.
No.
The reveal
We almost
was surprising
we
despite that.
even with the leak without it, like we
Yeah.
called, we were like, Kratos, you don't know it's God of War, Kratos walks out.
Yeah.
It was still so exciting when it happened. The music, we were like, it's God of War, it's God of War.
Yeah.
And still that moment, when he comes out of the shadows.
Yes. I'm hungry.
You guys, you sat here for I don't know how long talking about Zelda.
Yeah.
And how different it was and how exciting
Zelda
it was.
different?
Every single moment. Like, all of you had a different
Reinventing.
experience. Huber's sitting there, if he didn't say God of War, I didn't know what he was talking about God of War. Like seriously, video games are so exciting right now. I can't believe we get to live in this time that we get to experience
Taking
this.
risks. Love it.
Video games are back.
Hype.
What's next? What's our
What's
next
next?
game? Jones,
Oh, quickly.
Gaming back.
That was longer than I thought it'd be. Detroit, really same.
Oh yeah, you said Detroit.
Everything we saw, demo was the same. They played through it twice. I freaked David Cage out. I was like, "Yo, man, have you seen Ex Machina?" He was like, yeah, I like it." I was like, "Cool, giving me the vibe."
Wait, you said this to him?
Yeah.
E3, baby, E3.
Oh man.
Yo, man. Before that, though, I was like, David Cage, like, it's a pleasure meeting you. And then he walked away, came back. It's like, yo, man. Ex Machina. So it is the near future, about 20 years in the future. It is a world that is dependent on androids, which I love. It's like, we need them.
Yeah.
And the game begins right when androids are becoming sketch. There are some sporadic reports of androids showing strange behavior, disappearing, committing suicide, committing violence. So it's like right at the height of the mystery.
And it's all that guy's fault.
Yeah.
That one guy is like, I guess I'll let it off the line.
And then it kind of similar to Deus Ex, this is kind of a story that's been told a bunch of times. Like, oh, here we go, androids that feel. He really drove home that it's not a story, not about technology, not about AI. It's about humans and our emotions. Even though you play this entire game as androids, you play as multiple characters. You never play as a human. But the story is about humans.
Date of the game.
I think that is such a cool idea. And the Connor, the one character, is a detective, and first time he goes through the hostage situation, it was so intense because like this music slowly ramps up. It's like Batman Hans Zimmer situation where it starts out pretty intense, and then as things escalate, it's just full blast. By the way, this demo was the volume was cranked to 30 and the air conditioning was full blast. Quantic Dream setting the tone. It was a very intense demo. So he goes in and there's like this little fish on the ground, and you can like choose to save it and like put it back in the fish tank. Emotional moment where the hostage
Choose to save a fish. It's such a random thing.
Yeah.
That's
That's a quantic dream.
treasuring life,
Yeah.
in all its forms.
So just real briefly, the more evidence you gather, the more chance you have of defusing the situation, which I really like.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Something that would be huge for me is when you're. Sometimes I play Quantic Dream games or adventure games like this where they're like, yeah, you have to investigate.
Yeah.
So you get certain options, and it's just I always hate it because it feels so undercooked where it's like, yeah, you go into a room and you click on the things that are highlighted, like it's not much of an investigation. I want to know if you really have to put together the pieces.
It's a great question, Benmore. You're gonna be disappointed slightly.
Okay.
Detective mode I was so angry when this happened. It's called his Mind Palace, by the way, kind of a Hannibal memory palace situation.
Palace.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, Hannibal? Like,
Sherlock's got a mind palace.
okay. So just detective mode.
Yeah.
So he queues up detective mode, and all the points of interest are highlighted. So it's like checklist. Okay, let me interact with this. Let me interact with this.
But is there a time element there?
So
can you interact with too much?
So that is why Ben is only going to be slightly disappointed because this hostage situation is taking place. So the first time he kind of rushed through things, whatever. Second time, he's taking his time, looking at everything. Okay. So much time passes. The SWAT team is getting tense. They're on edge. So they're getting impatient. One of the SWAT team guys gets a little courageous, goes out, gets shot. One of the SWAT team guys just gets shot.
Wow.
They're like dragging him out. They're like, Android, man, you gonna go out there or what? So they're getting pissed at you. Your probability of success is slowly ticking down. So there is a sense of urgency.
Okay.
And the way you put together, kind of like a Arkham Origins situation.
Oh, cool.
The way you're putting together the case and like reliving the past through the evidence is really cool. But the biggest thing about the evidence, sure, it's a checklist, but it's the way you use that in the conversation. So gathering more evidence unlocks dialogue options, but there are still so many outcomes that it still feels natural and on the fly and high stakes.
So when you have to present that stuff, is it super obvious? Like, if I present this, it will lead to that outcome, or is it like, no, I think this might happen if I do this, because that's way more exciting.
If you don't like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, I really don't think this game is going to change your mind. But if you're a fan of those games, this has the potential to be their best one yet. The conversation was so intense between the androids. Just the voice acting was so on point. The both ways he did it.
Wait. I mean, that right there is a big difference.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The voice.
Well, I could tell.
So
I could tell
seamless.
from the trailer. Yeah, I really
The
liked
voice
that
acting is
conversation.
incredible.
When they walked out in that presentation and confronted each other, I thought of just like, wait, why are you acting this way? You really should get off that ledge. And they were just sounding like people. And like, you know, I could see someone being like, well, I would like to see them sound like robots because that's slightly unrealistic. But like, that's what's creepy about it is because like the only thing that's cluing you in that this guy's not real is just a little thing right there. That's it. You know, and like the when they're dragging the mom out, like she doesn't really tell right away. She's like, what are you doing? Wait a minute, and senses. So like, they're real close.
And like some of the information he got was that like he found out the android hostage was about to be replaced. That's why he snapped. So and just again, the ones you unlock are in the choices. It'll be like, you unlocked this one. Do you want to use it? But still, even watching it both times, it's like, man, I don't know. It's just a gut instinct. That's why those games are so cool. When you surrender yourself to a Quantic Dream game, you just let it take you. Take me to Valhalla. You just go with your gut and your emotions on the fly. And again, first outcome, both people died. You walked out. It's like mission failed. Everyone's looking at you like, dude,
Wait,
just
it doesn't messed up?
continue.
Continue on?
No, it continues
Okay.
on. Your
Thank
mission
God.
failed, and like it goes. Or you can like the other one. He shot the guy, saved the girl. So like heavy consequences. My Heavy Rain playthrough is legendary. I got the most depressing ending of all time. Everyone died, and I blew my brains out.
Yeah, you watched it.
Yeah, I botched it hard. Yeah.
Wow.
So crazy.
Androids are dying.
Legendary amongst those who live in Valhalla. The Huber Heavy Rain playthrough.
That was Detroit.
So that's Detroit. What's up?
Oh, I just want to announce. I'm actually
Announce.
already making plans to change up how we're doing E3 coverage next year.
How's that?
Just hear me out, because this might sound unusual. Hubert's actually not going to be playing any games next year. He's actually going to be following the rest of us around and just watching what we do. And then this is literally just going to be Hubert. Like, we're all going to sit like a campfire in front of the desk.
Yeah.
And he's just going to, like, the flames are just going to fly up. He's going to have, like the medicine man is going to shake beads.
Question.
Yes, Kyle Bossman.
Can Huber still shout at famous game designers?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
He can shout at anybody he sees. Yeah.
Great.
In fact, I wanted somebody to follow with a camera and have him live shout what's happening.
Huber, no, hold on. What did he say to Ex Machina?
Yeah.
He said yes?
He's like, yeah.
Then what?
Was he get scared yet?
I was like, cool.
Back off,
No,
man.
and then like I always.
What did you say, man?
So I usually have my outbursts of excitement, and then I go and then
Then you get real
Right.
cake.
Then I get
real close.
real
to
close,
this.
super.
You get real
what do you
intimate.
say?
I put on my professional hat and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, yo, I'm a really big fan of that game. The movie, this game definitely gave me those vibes. Also, the TV show Humans. I just love this element of sentient robots. I think it's a really cool story.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Is that where you moved into the themes and you started talking about themes of it?
No, and this was like when everyone was settling in.
Oh, okay.
So it
I
wasn't
wrote
like
this list of
I
things
didn't,
I think
like-
you should watch. If you just check those out, that'd be great.
I get the sense that you like,
It was my syndrome. I'm sorry.
like Huber, you get one question for the President of the United States. Have you seen Vikings?
Oh my gosh.
President Obama, have you seen Vikings?
very busy. Have you seen
Did
my
you ask Corey that?
No.
Okay.
I should have. One word.
Have you seen Vikings?
God, it's relevant.
Oh my god.
Any more questions? Yeah, Mr. Healy?
Oh wow.
To be fair, David Cage, he was taken aback maybe by my excitement, but he was excited to talk about the game. Like, I put my Kyle Bossman corporate Kyle suit on and brought it back down. I always end it professionally. So,
Nice.
What do you got, bud?
somewhat.
All right. I'm gonna to have a weird zigzag over here. Gwent was my first appointment of the day. And if you didn't see the picture, they had a giant Gwent table in there, like just huge. I think it was probably almost the size of this desk. That had the carvings for all of the rows and everything. But yeah, they started off talking about how it was really like a fan-to-man thing that they couldn't not make this game because they just kept getting emails about it. People wanted a standalone Gwent, so the guys that worked on the mini games started figuring out, okay, we gotta retool this, we gotta rebalance this, we gotta do all this stuff. One of the things that really surprised me, there is a campaign. They mentioned this.
Yeah.
But it's not just, let's just have a series of card battles with different characters. Like, this campaign has a world map.
Whoa.
You walk around on, like, basically what looks like a Secret of Mana type of map. And so you have, like, a little like a breadcrumb trail telling you where to go to your next objective. But along the way, you can go examine these ruins and you can see what's in there. And then there are dialogue choices, and you can like have good options, or you can fail, or you can like come across a boss battle.
So wait, someone is just chilling in a cave and challenges you to a game of Gwent.
No. Here's the crazy little weird part. Like the Gwent is all contextualized as your army, as your party.
That's even better.
This is so
So
cool.
you have these guys in your party.
Oh my God.
And then like, when you get a new card, it's like you've recruited a new party member.
So cool. Oh my gosh. It like they could have easily just put Gwent
Overachieving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has me
And-
pumped.
And here's one of the things they said. They said 10 hours per campaign. Meaning that this is probably not going to be, like, they're going to add campaigns later on as well, probably.
Those guys are nuts.
Yeah, it is pretty nuts.
Oh man.
But I saw, like, in the ruins, the situation they did, there was like a boss that was like a unique card, like that boss card was different than anything in the normal decks. There's just a lot of stuff. And I asked some people later about, because I was curious about, like, okay, because one of the big things with Gwent in The Witcher 3 is that it's a collectible card game, and like your deck is based on your collection and what you've decided to put into your deck. And so, like, I want to know how, like, the collection works in this. And so there are like multiple factors that play into your collection. One of them is that you do gain cards through the campaign, and those are part of your deck when you play multiplayer. The other thing is a little bit more standard when you play multiplayer matches. I think they say, like, every day, like, if you play 3 matches, then you'll get like a booster pack, and then if you keep playing, then there's like a diminishing returns. Like, if you you play 6 and then you get a second pack or whatever, and then the optional purchases to get more. I didn't go deeply enough to find out whether the campaign cards are unique to the campaign, if that's the only way to get them or not. But I would suspect that they probably are.
Like Hearthstone basic
sense.
cards, like going through that to get those, and then
The other thing is like everything all around is really like they've changed the art on everything. All the art on the cards has been redone. The cutscenes and stuff in the campaign are done in kind of that comic style that's in, like, you know, when you load up a game and it has those comic scenes, that's the style that the game's presented in. And then they mentioned that there are premium cards, and they showed one, and the premium cards actually animate, and there's a lot more going on there. And then they talked about how they retooled a lot of different things, and they only have right now 4 decks. Mm-hmm. So they pulled the Nilfgaard deck, and they have Skellige, and the monster deck, and Scoia'tael, and Temeria, and each one of those focuses on different things. So like they talked about, like the monsters is more weather focused, and all of that.
Are the rules the same? Bloodworth.
The basic rules are the same. The way, like, there's not a mana system added on or anything like that. It's still very much, you know, like the point values and the things that the cards do are the meat of the game. But there are a lot of ways that they've changed things up. And what was cool is we actually got to sit down and play against each other. And it wasn't like, oh, you get one session. No, it's like we could play. Like I got in like 3 matches against the girl, and
Context.
Ben is like, had this look on his face. I got 3 matches against the girl. Like,
one-on-one duel, Bloodworth dueling.
Yeah, but it's like it's so different that alone, like trying to figure out, like, get into somebody's head and
true.
Do that.
That's the first documented PvP Gwent here that I've ever heard. This is awesome.
So that's one thing, and trying to like sort out, okay, like how many because they. Like I'm split on this, but one thing that they don't do is they don't just give you a number to tell you how many cards they have. Like would have to actually sit there and count the cards, and because that's part of like the mind games is like, okay, do I try to bait them into putting out more cards,
Spies OP
or not? Yeah, well,
Spies
no.
OP.
Here's the thing, Spies have changed.
Okay, good.
Spies have changed.
Good.
Spies
this is
have
good.
changed.
Tell me about this.
So the thing with Spies is every spy that I saw was a little bit unique, a little bit different. And most of the spies actually had really high damage numbers. Mm-hmm. So like a lot of the spies in Witcher 3,
0, 1,
4.
There's
there's a hero that's a 0, right? That's kind of funny. And then there's like 1s and 2s and 4s. Mm-hmm. Like some of these spies I had were like an 8.
Cool.
But then they had like these other effects. So like they would do 8 damage, but then they would like do -2 to everybody else that was on that row. So if you played it at the right time, it would work out more in your favor, rather than what I would always do with the spy in Witcher 3. Is like I just want more cards. Just toss it down first round. Just put all the spies out there as soon as I can. And now I like think a little bit more. The other thing with the spies is that they don't all just give you 2 more cards.
Good.
They have different effects. So I had one that it gave me 2 cards, but then it also gave my opponent 1 card.
Perfect.
So like it kind of creates a little balance.
Yeah,
really
because with, like Gwent in Even Blood and Wine, the new Skellige deck is more creative than the other standard decks. I feel like, because there's like transformations and all this, but so like. Nearly every game comes down to, all right, let me get a couple of spies in my deck, throw them over to them. They play like a couple cards in between. I'm just loading up on them, and then I throw the first round. I have like 13 cards to 6, and then I just win both rounds.
Yeah. Leader cards have a lot of different effects. Like some of the leader cards will actually pull in certain unit cards. There was the other kind of game-changing thing that's like very immediately obvious. Like you know Monster Deck, right? Mm-hmm. Like Monster Deck feels super OP because you drop a card down and then it summons all these other cards even if they're not in your hand. But then the counter to that was always, okay, well if I'm against if I'm against monsters, I'll just put frost down and I'll just annihilate them. Now, there are wild hunts in the monster cards that rather than getting reduced, they get doubled from frost.
Whoa.
So now
There's a lot more.
you have to really
stuff,
think
lot
about
more,
the strategy a lot differently.
mechanics going on.
There are cards that I got that they would summon. So you would drop this guy down, and then he would summon. I'm trying to remember. I think some of them summon when they leave the table and they go into your graveyard. But I can't remember specifically. But one would summon a Leviathan. And the Leviathan was kind of like, I don't know exactly what it was doing, because it felt like it was reducing some cards but then boosting others at certain points. It was sort of like a wild card kind of thing. And it would move between rows on each turn. So like when it was on the close combat row, it would be, working out in my favor, but then it would move to the ranged row and it would actually like be not working, be on my opponent's favor. So it's like, it's like this timing of like, when do I actually like lay down the card that's going to end this round, because this dynamic is happening. And there was also there was a dragon card in which you could use it to either scorch, and scorch takes out whatever the highest level cards, even if they're on your own side, or you could use it as the horn. So you choose. It's weird. It's like you have the option when you put that card down.
Cool.
And then let me see if there's anything else. But one thing that I was a little disappointed in, because this was the new mechanic on the Skellige deck, was the mushrooms.
Love it.
Where they had the transformation.
Turn your minions into bears.
But the thing is here, like, the mushrooms weren't that unique, and I left because CD Projekt always has these feedback forms, so I left this note because I'm like, I don't understand why you did this, because now like the mushrooms are just like a +4 to whoever. Like, they didn't do the transformation thing, so that was one of the weird little things.
Cool.
But yeah, I had fun. I signed up for the beta, which I guess is coming in September to Xbox and PC.
I feel like they should let you into the beta, Blood, before anyone else in the world. Blood should be beta participant number 1.
Quality assurance.
Right. Like you should be in the credits.
Yeah.
You should have to beat Blood to get into the beta.
But it was really the thing that was great though is I won 2 out of the 3 matches. But it was so, like, going against another person was so intense, because it felt so neck and neck. Like, even when I'd get ahead, then she would start catching up to me. It's like, oh man, like I'm running out of cards.
This is why I got burnt out on Gwent in the main game. It's not because it wasn't good. It's not because I didn't like the mechanics, but it was because I felt like I was just manipulating AI.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was trying to figure out what the computer was programmed to do, rather than thinking about, like, no, how do I make the best out of a poor situation? How do I actually truly bluff? And, like, what you're saying, like, the edge of your seat, like, what is going to happen because I have a limited amount of cards and because it's neck and neck, like, oh, that's so exciting to me.
Yeah.
This is going to be...
The world map gets me so excited. That's so cool.
And the fact that they don't cheese it up, like,
Yeah.
I like Hearthstone, but it's always done in this, like, we're just having fun. It's cool. Like, adding like the cards are party members and you're taking them to war. That's incredible.
I don't want to be a buzzkill.
Okay.
Ben Moore, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Will the meta reveal itself?
The meta. Huber, that is an excellent question.
Can it reveal itself in The Witcher?
But here's
Gwent?
Here's the difference between Gwent and other games is, even if the meta comes and people figure like, oh, this is clearly the best deck, it's super overpowered, and multiplayer doesn't get to be fun, at least I get to experience a 10-hour campaign. You know what I mean?
The campaign,
like,
exactly.
Like, there's something to fall back on here. I don't just have to deal with the meta. I get to experience the story. I get to, like, collect cards by beating bosses that have unique mechanics. Cool. So even if the meta is at its worst, there's, like, so much there to redeem itself.
Good save. Good save.
Yeah.
They talk about the pricing of this game. Is it full-blown retail?
This is free to play.
Okay.
Free to play.
How much are packs?
So like Hearthstone.
I don't know. That information might be out there. It might not even be determined yet.
Similar probably to Hearthstone, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean the one thing
Too expensive.
with CD Projekt is anything that annoys
Jitters.
players tends to annoy them.
Yeah.
So I think they're
God.
going to be very, judicial in how they handle pricing on
They have
things.
so much goodwill. Like, seriously. Best in the biz. Just like, oh, you guys want Gwent? All right, sure. We'll make a free-to-play Gwent game for you.
I've got 4 more games, but I've talked for a little bit. Just Ben or Brandon or.
I got a game.
Jones hasn't done one yet.
So what are we?
Jones
Wait.
hasn't done one yet.
Who played 15? What are we?
Oh, I played 15 Prompto,
Oh, and
and
Damiani.
it was not good.
Damiani and I need to have a serious conversation with Final
I say we
Fantasy.
crunch on 15. Let me just do a quickie. I'll do a night. This is 5 minutes, just real brief.
I mean, I've got 4 more games.
'Cause it's
but
more-
I don't want to talk
Tomorrow.
about crunch yet.
I don't think. Yeah. This is more of a confirmation. This is more of kind of like addressing something you are all familiar with. Played Steep. That was the first.
Okay, cool.
I got in. I worked a little bit for IGN this morning. You might have seen some of my videos pop up there. And then
One really quick question.
Sure.
This is super important.
Sure.
Like, give me a grease level right now.
a grease level
yeah.
on IGN.
No. How greasy are you?
Let's see your palms.
Yeah.
Show us your palms. Oh, they're
It's pretty clean. That's pretty clean. That's pretty clean.
I feel pretty good. I will be at GameSpot tomorrow though.
Oh, the grease.
Nice.
I played Steep, so I had time before my my appointment with Activision, and I want to run in there. And when I was there before, Ian pointed out that there was no line, or the line was very short. All the people were very jolly doing the demo. Nice. I was on a headset, and there was only one other player, and I had a lady who was going back and forth between the two of us.
I do like when Ubisoft does that.
And this game is so perfect to be demoed because you have all of these mountains. You have a bunch of, do you want to use a snowboard? Do you want to do skis? Do you want to do parasailing? Or do you want to do wingsuit? And you can just kind of run around and do whatever. So we first start out, and the one thing that they introduced that I thought was kind of funny is you start out and you're on foot. And you can walk in the game, which is kind of fun. Which I would always, if I was like building a snowboarding game from the ground up, I think that would be a fun option. It's even in skating, like you can do that. You can walk with your board and try to get somewhere and then drop down from there. And so they intentionally start you at a spot where you have to walk down, and there's like snow deformation, so you're just kind of like slowly like moving down to the platform, and then you wingsuit down, and so you can just pick a spot and just drop in. They actually, I think the spots were actually called like E3 Drop 1. So like the world will probably look a little bit different than what we saw in the demo. But it's not just that like, oh, I'll pick that spot and I'll go there and just start from there. Some are like designed for parasailing. Like they're just sheer drops. It's like you're actually on a platform that just goes straight down. Or there's others that like, these are more for skiing and snowboarding and stuff. So I'm cruising out in a wingsuit, and even just flying with the wingsuit, free flying, I can see a part over there that's like, do you want to do that race? And it's like, you just got to fly through that thing. And one thing that I liked that I never really thought about before, and I guess it works for some games, it doesn't work for others, is I'm used to ghosts actually being ghosts, like in a racing game. Like, you don't see another car, you see like an outline of the car.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that when ghosts pop up in this game, they look like actual players. So like when I hit that wingsuit thing, the guy appeared next to me on the wingsuit, and all I had to do, there was a line, like they showed in the demo where, so I could see the line that this person took. This is the challenge that I'm doing, and this is probably like a fabricated challenge that they created for the demo. But from what they described, this could possibly be like, oh, Huber left a challenge there. Do you want to go see what Huber did?
Challenge.
So I'm not only just trying to beat your time. There's Huber. Like Huber's next to me, and I can see the line and where you traveled. And so there was one, right before at the end, I was flying on a wingsuit. And the line went around this one side of the mountain, and I looked over the mountain, and the place where I had to finish was kind of to the right a little bit, and I'm like, I'm not going to the left, I'm going to the right. And I like completely went a totally different direction than that person went and beat him, and like actually got a better time. And so it's kind of fun just to have that wide open freedom of a race, to have, I don't know if like Forza Horizon or like any racing games you've played have ever done something like that, where you can just completely go outside the lines and find
Horizon,
not necessarily...
I think does that to a degree, but not fully, yeah.
And find not necessarily the best way that you can use your skill at the game to master the terrain, but find the best terrain to master the race. I thought that was interesting. Parasailing's fun. I don't know if I really got it. I mean, it seems like a logical step, especially when you're gliding. You can hit the parachute at any time and like just bail on a race or just like fly around. Wingsuit's obviously pretty great. If you played the SSX from last year, it's pretty similar to that.
Last year?
Or a couple years ago. Yeah. The last SSX. And snowboarding's good. Skiing's good. I have a concern, and I don't know if they're still tweaking the controls, but I'm so used to SSX. And so I'm kind of like unlearning what I have learned, and trying to like adapt this new control scheme. So jumps were either the left button or the right button. and it was classic SSX where you had to like hold it down and then release right when you got to the other edge of a jump. I was nervous it would be so sim that the jumps wouldn't be that high. Like you can get high, like if you get enough speed and you get it right at that point. And they actually had some crazy like bluffs and stuff like that. It had like snow packs that would go up in like a ring that you could like try to get off. And it was fun when you were racing because if it was a really hard race, you would see the guy went off this rail and you're like, screw that, I don't need to do that, that's like showboating. But having these lines in the game is kind of a fun way to challenge you and kind of think like, well, maybe you can try to get up there and try to hit that thing, but you don't have to. It's all time based.
I like that.
But it is very sim. If you crash, you crash. Like if you are doing a race and you fell over, restart. There's no way you are beating that time. Like your guy will fall, like hit like face first, and then like slowly get back up, and then kind of balance the board, and then you keep going. So it's like if you're just free running around, then like you might wait for him to get back up. But I don't know if this is going to be in the full game. But if you hit up on the D-pad, you changed your rider. I don't think you could do that while you're racing, but before you started an activity, you could just pick. And I imagine you can customize your character, but like for the interest of the demo, there was like if you just want to change the way you look, you can hit up. If you hit down, you change the weather.
Wow.
So it can be like sunset, sunrise, night, snowy, blizzard, and it's just like changing the channel on TV. I'm just like click, 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 click. Ah, there we go. Like that's like it's like oh, it's 5 p.m. Like, and that was actually something that I really dug from Snow. Was it the skiing game? The kid.
Oh yeah.
Was that like
Snow? Did Snow even come out yet?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's still like in early access. I think they're just like designing that for PC. But one thing that I loved about Snow is I can't remember what buttons it was. But you can, we've say it's like the shoulder buttons, that they were the sun. So if you like hit R, the sun would go that way, like in real time. So you could, and if you just hit and held it, the sun would just keep circling around and around. So it's like not quite like that, but like gives you an option to just change up. Again, you couldn't do it while you were doing an activity. It was just like, oh, I want to drop in on that point. You would load up to that point, and then like, oh, let me pick the time of day. Let me pick what I look like, and then I'll drop in. The concern that I have, which was a bummer, is in SSX, if you go towards a jump, and you hold down the jump button and then lean the character in a particular direction, you're like charging up to jump in that direction. In this game, you move the person after you jump. So you can't preload a jump. So you have to like get ready to jump, now turn. And it was just like, it's like having an SSX being able to like, like that was part of the challenge. It's like, if I'm gearing down for a jump, I can't turn anymore. I have to go in a straight line. So you just try to like thread the needle and find that perfect line towards the jump, and then okay, now I have enough time, I can go down.
Oh.
And in this, it was very tough for me. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like to get the flips down and to get turns down. Like when I was on skis, I did a 180 and I was going backwards, and I was like, oh, let me try to turn around, and I just like 360, and I'm like, just stop, like just do a 180. And it was a time demo, so I was like right in the middle of a wingsuit race, and then boop, it stopped. But the coolest thing about that game is just how it's like a buffet. You just like if you're like right in the middle of a thing and you're like, nah, I don't like this course, whatever. You just like hit the B button, go back to the map, hit the B button again, you zoom out even farther. Everything's color coded, so if you just want a challenge, you look for those little black flags. You can see like the stuff that your friends have done. So again, an awesome demo to show because you have so much freedom. Like it's the kind of thing where you look at everybody down the road, all the kiosks playing it, everyone's in a different part, everybody looks different, is using a different. So that guy's on skis, that guy's on a wingsuit, and I'm curious how online works because I did see other people just running around, and I didn't know if that was like the guy next to me or if that was AI or how that works. But had to get in there and play Steep. That's my update.
Cool.
Nice.
That'd be Steep. So.
That was very well presented.
15, you guys coming on here?
15.
Let's do it.
Someone
Dump me out of here.
Brad, get
now?
on here.
I didn't play it.
I haven't played either.
I feel like all interested 15 parties should be
You're hyped?
up here.
Bossman, you're hyped?
I want to know about one thing though. I need a scoop on something. I saw a bunch of rumors about
Prompto? Prompto was not good.
Jolly.
Prompto was not jolly. It was not good. It was so basic. You can like teleport to these circles, and then you just like hold one button down shooting.
Oh, so you don't control your own movement?
No.
Okay.
So I'm
Prompto's VR, by
I'm
the
just
way.
checked out, just shooting.
Terrible, in fact.
This. The best part about that though, they almost had to kick me off when you kill the beast,
Behemoth.
the behemoth. You get into the car.
Ooh.
And I'm just like chilling in the car
With Sydney.
Oh.
Really jolly music's playing, and you're just sitting there, man. You're like looking at the dashboard,
Yeah.
looking out into the wilderness.
Yeah.
I'm like, how long does this go for? He's like, forever. I'm like, okay, settle in. Road trip.
It's like the development of the game to stay there.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there.
Experience it in VR.
So I'm sitting there for like a few minutes, and he's like, okay, like I heard him talk louder. He's like, yeah, you can go after he's finished.
And you're just hanging out in the car.
Is that the first time you got asked to leave?
To be fair, there was like no one around when I played this,
Oh,
and by the time I got to the car, it had only been a couple minutes. No one was around. It was like empty booth. So then I know someone's there waiting. So I'm like, okay, like I'm done. But then I see this car coming in the distance.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait, let me just see who's in that car.
Yeah.
So the like car drives by, and I'm just like, it's like actually like that. It's just super cool. The car part was fun.
Demo attendant says, it just keeps going. Huber's response,
Settle in. Yeah.
I'm just feeling the vibes of the ride.
Yeah, the music.
You gotta fact check
cool.
it. You gotta make sure they're telling the truth.
Forever.
It was so jolly.
you are...
That's dangerous. You could have got lost. What if they hadn't told you to leave?
I would have left.
You could have been stuck there forever.
I
You'd have lost
there
it.
right now.
I was ready.
You would have had
Because
to answer the call of the dragon of
You'd be with
Doja.
Carmack right now.
Cormac.
That's who you drove by.
Because right next to it was Resident Evil in VR,
Oh.
which I got to play.
Oh,
So one thing I want to know really bad about.
Kind of visual downgrade on the VR scares me. That's all I
sure.
wanted to say.
No, you gotta have that. You gotta have that.
Just kind of a little blurry, you know.
I want to know one thing about Final Fantasy 15, and it's about the stage demo from the Xbox One press conference.
Yeah.
Apparently something was goofy. Something was effed up about it.
Yeah.
Can the panel explain that? Does the panel have the scoop on that? Do we need to sleuth it?
Like what happened, because we played the demo that you saw on the Xbox.
Yeah.
So-
Which went poorly.
Yes.
The main character ran out of health.
It does not. Yeah. I did not run into that problem while I was playing the demo. So
Okay.
it's based on that. It definitely seemed like either something like the player goofed up or something was wrong, technically during that presentation.
Cool.
I'm gonna have to concur with you.
Ooh.
That was. I don't know what was going on with that demo, but
I'm gonna have to concur with you.
Sleuth
No,
dummy.
I mean, I'm just being stupid,
Professor.
exaggerated.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty obvious that either something was wrong with the controller or the dude was just, like, freaking out on stage and
Stage fright?
Right.
just wasn't, like, just whatever, deer in headlights type thing. And
I think it did a lot to hurt the game.
It did.
Oh,
it
definitely
did.
did.
It definitely did.
The
yeah.
commentary out there was just like, oh man, 15 looks like very bad right now. I really hope. Some people just saying, it was just a bad demo, but
I'm scared.
that's like the stuff. It's hard to shake that out, even if it wasn't your fault. Like think about the Skyward Sword demo.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knew that was not their fault, but
Never recovered
trolls
from
came
that.
out of the woodwork and just went out there and said, yo, that Skyward Sword demo, motion controls. Yeah, I'm really gonna play that after I saw that crappy demo.
I just thought Miyamoto was bad at games when I saw that.
I have a question for the episode Deus Ex is really the biggest thing I've invested in for 15 so far. I'm kind of keeping everything under wraps. The fight at the behemoth at the end am I a casual? Like I didn't struggle. I beat it and then I beat the harder one, but it was like I was clumsy fighting it.
Okay.
Can you is it like a skill based combat system? Can you get super good at it
Yes.
and look flashy, like diving around and okay.
So here.
Okay.
Can I say a similar story?
Yeah.
So I played the Platinum demo.
Yeah.
And I got to the Iron Giant fight at the end, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is so cool. The Iron Giant, an iconic Final Fantasy. I mean, I can't wait to like really get into this new combat and see what it's all about. And I felt like a bumbling idiot. Like there was input delay or something. Like you would hit dodge and it would like take a second for him to do it. Like the animation priority, everything felt off to me. But then I went on NeoGAF and people posted videos of things that they could do, and they looked like gods. And so I'm like, clearly there's a learning curve there that I just didn't get, and I need to spend more time with the game to figure out.
Cool.
So I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt based on what I saw from other people.
Sweet.
That maybe like something just wasn't clicking for me.
Cool.
What'd you play?
we played the Titan demo, but you get a little bit more context to that. Go ahead.
Oh boy.
Titan demo.
boy.
Oh
So
no.
you guys have seen the videos. I don't know if you've ever seen it because you've been kind of on media blackout, right? You don't want to know anything. But okay, there's a summon in the game called Titan, or at least an enemy. I don't know if you can summon it, but they've shown it in other footage before. So the demo is you finally get to fight him. This is the real serious giant boss battle that I've seen in the game. That holy crap, this is it. Like this is a Final Fantasy boss battle.
What was the one 2 days ago? Was that Titan? Or
Yeah,
Next?
that was Titan. The
Okay,
one at the demo. So it's the
perfect.
one you saw at the demo. So
Perfect,
you've
yeah.
already seen it. So it's just like, okay, finally get to see, instead of fighting like remedial enemies and soldiers and wolf packs and stuff, this is it. Here we go. And it was just so plain and basic.
It was boring.
It was just, yes, it was boring.
It was boring.
And that's why I think it had to be a controller error or the dude froze up. Because for me, when I got to the battle, it literally was, I stood still. A prompt comes up, says hold block button. It doesn't say hold, but I knew before that you have to hold it down to do the block. You hold down the little square button on the PlayStation 4, the DualShock, block it. Circle comes up, parry, boom, knocks the hand over and stuff. You go DPS it a little bit. Then it like swings its arm. You hold the dodge button down. You dodge right through like a little gap in it. Rinse and repeat until it says you're hold out for your companions to join you. And then they say, hit it with Blizzaga. And I don't think you even have to do it yourself. I think they might just do it at a point where they do the Pokemon toss like, I choose you, Blizzaga. Freeze the arm, one shot it, shatter it, and he goes, that's over. And it just like ends. And I'm like, I thought it was going to be Shadow Cloud. I thought you had to break the hand. You could climb up.
God of War 3 Chronos.
I thought you were going to scale the boss and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is going to be so freaking awesome. Like, finally, the teleporting shit's going to be amazing. Here we go. 15's going to live up to it. No, you just stand there and, like, parry and just
So
stupid.
So
Devastating.
So think about your favorite Final Fantasy bosses. Like, just conjure up a few in your head, or even just go broader than that. Your favorite JRPG bosses, and why they're exciting. There's something about them where they stress you as a player, where you're like, oh man, my attacks aren't working. I need to figure out how to make them weak, or I'm under some amount of pressure. I'm crippled in some way. And I think the thing that we need to say, that we need to recognize, is that this is an E3 demo. I think what they were doing is they were prioritizing flash over substance. They were just trying to make it look good. They were trying to make you as the player feel good. It was eye candy. And the scale of Titan was incredible. I mean, you have this giant beast that, like, you have to hold the right analog stick up to see his face. I mean, he felt like a mountain. And he's got this, like, jagged piece of earth shoved in his eye, and you have these soldiers with these giant lances shooting him. So it looked spectacular, but it, like, you went through phases. It was like Square Enix was shoveling you in a little room, and they're like, now watch this presentation. Okay, it's time for the next part. Please go into the other room. Now watch this presentation. It just, like, I felt like the game was playing itself. And again, this is why I'm so conflicted about Final Fantasy 15, because I feel like every little bit that I've gotten, you can kind of extrapolate and be like, okay, I could see how they would change this for the main game. But when you start to add all of this up, it starts to get a little bit worriesome.
Oh man, and
I'm scared.
And
You
speaking of
rendered us speechless.
so
Yeah.
you said adding up because of the parts we played. We haven't even dropped the bombshell yet.
Drop the bomb down behind.
Ben and I at Judges Week, we can now talk about this.
Yeah.
We were waiting to, like, we had to keep our mouth shut about
Are you
this.
judges, by the way?
No, it was open to non-judges.
Okay.
So we got to go.
We're small fries.
Yeah. We got to play the first 2 chapters of the game.
Oh.
Whoa,
Of
so you've seen the
15.
beginning of this game.
Okay.
So the thing is, okay, this is testament to how weird this situation is. There weren't like cutscene, like real, like the CG. There was like no CG or anything. It just like starts with you pushing the car down the road. It's just like a cold start essentially. And I was like, wait, did they remove the stuff? Are they putting that stuff in the CG movie now? Is that why that exists? Like, it was just a little confusing about. Did they cut? They weren't clear if they cut any of the story content out. There was definitely narrative in there, but it definitely felt like some of the CG stuff you've been presented before might not be in the final version of the game at the start.
That'd be cool if the movie did lead up to that
It
exact
is,
moment.
but it also means you have to go see it now
Yeah.
to understand the game you're supposed to be playing.
No, that would not be
So
cool.
I love Ben has something he wants to
in that
say
case,
real
yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just this so rarely happens. Like, I've been Final Fantasy is such a series that is near and dear to my heart, and so when I got to go to this event, which I desperately wanted to go to, like I was bugging Brandon Jones about it, I was like, please let me go. And they get on stage and they say, hey, we're gonna let you play the first like 90 minutes of this game. Like this is a long demo, so if you want it, like go after it. I was
Longer than Zelda.
I can't wait. Like this is so incredible, and I don't know if I've ever walked away more disappointed from a demo. Like it was heartbreak. And it's one of those things where you go like, well, we're still a few months away from release, but like I'm just gonna hit quick bullet points here. You have this huge world. It feels like there's nothing in it. Like it's just a bunch of empty space.
So I feel that way about Xenoblade. And
Sure.
maybe that's misguided on me.
Sure.
I just look at that world and I see it. It's very sparse. It's very empty. Like I would much rather have a way smaller world, just like tightly packed.
Yeah.
Is that similar? Like, does Xenoblade make this game look any different?
Well, the thing about Xenoblade is I because I got to play the whole game, their priorities felt a little bit different, and even though there isn't a lot of like huge bustling towns, like Xenoblade Chronicles X, it feels lush with life. Like you go and you see all of these different creatures interacting with each other. Like it didn't feel lifeless. Like for most of the time in Final Fantasy 15, I felt like I was just staring at a blank canvas. But that wouldn't have been such a big deal. It's just like honestly, in my 90 minutes that I spent with the game, every single fight I got into turned into a slideshow. And you know that reveal trailer?
Oh, frame rate wise.
Frame rate rise.
Okay.
And again, frame rate is one of those things that is usually the last thing that they fix in a demo. And I want to couch this with another story. When I saw Hitman before release, I came back to the Allies and I said, that is the most broken pile of garbage I've ever seen. And now we're all having a blast with Hitman.
Yeah.
So take this with a grain of salt. I can only report what I saw. But you remember in the Final Fantasy 15 reveal where like Prompto would do that thing where you grab on your shoulder and like shoot. So you get those awesome moments where like Gladio will come in and he'll like help you do that final swing on an enemy. Whenever that happened, the game would like stop and then like skip. And so you'd take this incredible moment where it's supposed to be flashy, it's supposed to be cool, it's supposed to be you doing a team attack. And it just, I could never enjoy it because of the performance issues. And not only that, the game crashed me 4 separate times.
Crashed on you 4 times?
Crashed me, like, quit to desktop 4 times.
So assuming, though, like, forget about that. Assuming everything runs perfectly, smooth as butter, no crashing, no skipping, everything's perfect, can the other problems be fixed?
Yeah, maybe
like the lifeless world.
Maybe
and the
Enuma just
combat.
took out the towns for the demo.
So, the story-wise, again, and they could definitely change the story, but okay. So if you are hypersensitive to, I truly do not believe this is a spoiler.
Okay.
So I have no problem saying it to you guys. But if you are hypersensitive, you don't want to know anything about the Final Fantasy 15 storyline.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. We're Easy 8. There's a moment that I saw in the beginning of the game where you find out that your kingdom, where you come from, is under attack.
Oh, yeah. That's not a spoiler.
Okay. And you just learn about it from a newspaper. And then it's like, okay, time to go on a journey. And it's just, it feels so sudden and there's no emotional weight to it. And I feel like that should have been a point where I connected with Noctis and his crew and I learned how much this place meant to them. And it feels like it just sort of happened.
Yeah. So wait, they said chapter 1 and 2 you played. You played the first 2 chapters? Mm-hmm. Do we think there's maybe a chapter 0, something they're holding back, some kind of epic, really long that they didn't want you to demo because there's no combat. You're a kid and you're then you meet your friends and like this really epic build up.
The thing that's like rough is they are making a feature length film, and so that's something that just kind of sits in the back of your head where you're like, man, I hope they're not taking these moments that maybe would have been more effective in the game and put them in the movie. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I want to convey about Final Fantasy 15 is every single thing that I say, I second guess myself because it's like, well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know. And it's like, I feel like I've just gotten vertical slices that maybe when I play the full experience, I'll feel so much better. But I want to talk to you about Metal Gear Solid 5 with Phantom Pain.
Oh,
I think it's a
Really
fantastic.
quick,
Just several people are saying Game Informer reported there is a prologue. There's a chapter 0.
There's a
There's
chapter
something
zero.
before.
Okay,
Okay.
that was not information. that was
More than
given
one
to me.
person said it. The only one.
Thank you,
perfect.
So I got to preview Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain before I got to review it, and it was a similar situation to Final Fantasy 15 where I played a huge chunk of that game, and I got like really, really far, like close to the end of the first act of the 2-act game. And I said to myself, man, I don't know about this story. Like, things, the way that I think about Metal Gear stories and how invested I am at this point, I'm not feeling with this game. Like, something feels off, despite how much enjoying I was playing it. And it was one of those things where I said to myself, well, maybe I'll appreciate the story more in the final game. And lo and behold, I play the final game and I still feel that hollowness. And so that experience, because I hold Final Fantasy to a similar level, I'm worried, I'm afraid. But I don't know, like, they showed stuff today with the new weight combat system, and it looked so much better than what we saw in the E3 trailer and the Microsoft press conference. And so it's one of those things where I don't want to sit here and condemn Final Fantasy 15. It's just I feel like I'm at a point where I don't know what to think.
Whoa.
So nervous.
What does Damiani think?
Uh,
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Brandon wanted to end the stream on a crunch. He's like, all right,
Wow.
we'll end on 15. Not
Any of us
going
played
on
For
to-
Honor today. That was
Yeah.
one suggestion they had.
Yeah.
I played it, but we can talk about that tomorrow. I was not the biggest fan after the episode 1.0 Dusk Sky, the first version they put out.
We just say Duskay here.
I say Dusk Sky.
Okay.
Things like do Sky, I don't know.
Anyway,
Jeebus.
well, let's call it the first point 1.0. It was okay. It was rough. When they reissued it or re-released it with the updates, I actually really liked that version that they put out, and especially the tweaks to the battle system. I was like, just keep improving this, and I see the improvement here. This is going in a very good direction. I feel much better about this.
Yeah.
I was kind of like on a low when I first played the first version of the demo. The revision, I felt way better about it. When I stepped into that Judges Week event and left after playing that demo, I was just like, did they just go backwards with the battle system or something? Like, has it just been so long since I played it that I'm just remembering it wrong or something? Because this did not feel as smooth or fluid as what I was playing in that polished demo. And I was just kind of confused. I was like, am I just being bad at this? Is like, what's going on? There'd be points with not Tabata, but the other guy who was there taking
The
notes.
producer.
Producer would come over and trying to help me explain stuff. Like, there's a part where I was like low on health and stuff, so he's like, you should, like, I was like, where can I go to get health? I don't see any more tents around this area. He goes, oh, there's a checkpoint back here, go there. And then I tried to go back there, and it kept saying, nope, you gotta proceed to your next objective. So I pointed to him, I was like, hey, I can't go back here. You know, is this normal? He's like, oh, we'll look into this. So I'm illustrating that point because there could have been, they emphasized that this was like a fresh baked like build,
Right.
rushed to us from Japan, that there could have been stuff
Yeah.
that was like a little wonky with it. And so we can totally excuse some of that stuff, but for whatever reason, the combat system just felt a little bit, it didn't feel as good as what I'd played before.
Sure.
And I don't know if I can completely chalk that up to, it has nothing to do with like the progression or like the design or, you know, the flow of the game. This is about the combat, and I was really enjoying the combat before. It's just, I was like kind of stunned, and I heard, so yes, they said there's a episode 0 or prologue chapter with the story bit, but it was weird because at the end you meet the guy who's the main character in King's Live or whatever, who's voiced by a totally different actor. I forget which one he's voiced by. Who basically instructs you to go to all these tombs to get the weapons that Noctis does the cool thing with.
Cool.
That's how he starts getting his power.
Yeah.
And you see like the kingdom being invaded already. So I don't know how much they're going to do in that prologue, what's going to be in there, but it felt like so much stuff was going on outside of, like, I wasn't seeing it happen. I was being told it was happen. It's like, stop. Like, Chapter 3 better be you going back to, like, the city and stuff and, like, in a futile effort trying to retake it and you, like, get chased out, but I don't think that's going to happen. I feel the game might be suffering a little bit from the change they did from Versus to 15. Like, the story direction changes they decided to make, taking Nomura off of it, whatever you think about Nomura, I think it's starting to show the cracks in that they tried to hobble this mess together, repiece it from like what they tore down from the original version, and this is what we're getting. Like Dusky was like a clever ruse. You could polish that, put that zone together, make it feel really good. Got everyone like, as Huber say, jolly about it. Like we feel so good about this. Is positive. Like everyone feels good. And now that we're getting taste of the actual final product,
sterile location.
I'm nervous. It's not doom and gloom because, as I said, fresh baked build, stuff can be ironed out. I could just had remembered shit wrong. People will be like, as you said, there's videos out here of people doing amazing stuff. Like could just totally be like, yeah, it wasn't gelling with me. I just forgot it. But I'm just like nervous and I have like anxiety.
It's
like
not going to win any Best of E3 awards.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Especially based on the build that people have to play. I just don't know. I'm worried. I'll wrap it up with this.
Okay.
At the judges event, they also had the Kingdom Hearts 3 prelude thing there. We're not going to go into depth about it. I walked away being like, this game was this blew me away.
The Aqua thing?
The Aqua
Yes,
thing.
cool.
This was way better
this
than this was way this.
The line was too long. We didn't choose to try
Like the
it.
10 minutes I played that was way better than the 2 hours I spent with frickin' 15.
Whoa.
It felt so good.
Nomura.
Yeah, dude.
I can't. Brad has to like anytime the words kingdom and hearts are together. Brad Ellis.
It is 12:04.
That's a teaser for tomorrow. That's a teaser
we're
for
not
tomorrow.
gonna. I don't want to talk about it. I just wanted to illustrate that another game that I didn't even know was going to be there left a better impression with me than 15 did.
Wow.
We have bummed out our faithful fans.
Oh, I'm hurt.
We got to crunch this
I don't wanna
baby.
bum
I
people out.
don't
It's
think we
just-
can crunch it on a particular game. I say what we do is we go around the room. I say we each talk about one game that we played that we did not have time to talk about tonight, and one game that we are planning on playing tomorrow or Thursday to raise anticipation for day 2 impressions of E3 2016. Can we do that?
Now, you know what I'm playing tomorrow? You know what I'm playing tomorrow? The Last Guardian.
Yeah, dude.
Drop the mic. We're done. Cut. Out.
What did you not have time to talk about tonight?
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Okay.
And it is hype.
All right.
Yeah.
Was that an appointment or did you just walk up?
Yeah, appointment.
Okay,
Kingdom
cool.
Come is coming.
Yeah. Kingdom
All right.
Come
All
Deliverance.
right. There is a microphone over there, but it's good to see you. Good.
Very
What's up?
good.
Yeah, I mean,
All right,
you should
bud.
just all be on the desk.
Lay it on me. What's in the book?
What's in the book?
What are you
Well,
hiding?
I still have to talk. I don't really have that much to say really about it, but Forza Horizon 3. I still have to talk about Recore. I still have to talk about Gears of War 4. I still have to talk about Sea of Thieves. And then tomorrow I probably will play Last Guardian. I'm also gonna play We Happy Few. I'll get my time in on Zelda, but I don't know that we'll talk about it again.
Brandon
anytime
said
soon.
one game and one game.
No, he did.
Blood.
Blood does it his own way. It's a Blood.
Okay,
game.
all right.
I would advise everyone else, in the interest of time, to only pick one game. But thank you, Blood, for
Sure.
being extensive. Damiani, what did you not get time to cover?
Vikings.
What?
Vikings. Huber.
For honor.
For
Honor.
honor.
We're playing tomorrow.
Okay, we
That'll
need to
be a
talk.
good
We need to
talk.
talk about tomorrow.
That'll
Had
be
you
a
played
great
For Honor?
talk.
Had you,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Damiani, have you played
Yeah.
For Honor yet?
What?
Had you played For Honor yet before you played
Oh.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the club,
It's
baby.
so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Welcome to the club. All right,
Raise
Ben.
that sword, baby.
What are you holding
Raise
back,
it.
man?
Okay, I'm emotionally crushed that I didn't get to talk about this because it was one of those games that I walked into having no expectations and blew me away. The Attack on Titan game from Omega Force.
I saw you tweet about that.
It like I was grinning from ear to ear the entire time. It felt like I was playing Spider-Man 2 again on the PS2. Like the movement, the combat, the way it looked, everything was so on point. Like incredibly. It honored the anime in a way that I totally wasn't expecting. I can't wait to talk more about it. And tomorrow, I mean, this is, you could have predicted this, but I'm walking into that Atlas booth. I'm walking into that closed door, and I'm hoping that
It's gonna be there.
I hope
He's gonna put
I
his
hope
foot
I get
down.
born again.
Yeah.
Cal Bossman.
The only game I played today was Zelda
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild. That's
Legend
the only game I
of?
play. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The game I will play first tomorrow. You're gonna have to help me with the name. We ran into Shuhei Yoshida at the end. We were walking out, and he came over to say hi. I told him I wanted to play VR tomorrow. I said, I want to play PlayStation VR. What should I check out? And the one he recommended was that weird sci-fi game that was last on my list.
Farpoint.
Farpoint. Cool.
Interviewed Farpoint guys for IGN today. Really nice.
Dude,
Shuhei Yoshida said Farpoint is the best VR game.
there was a guy
Yeah.
in the Farpoint booth full VR and a rifle.
Yes.
Just doing this.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to play it.
That's gonna be me tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the one I want to play.
The
So I'm
guy,
gonna give it a shot.
He had the VR, the
Yeah.
gun, and a huge smile on his face. So
You
good.
might have seen that guy.
I gotta see it then.
He was
I
holding
definitely
it.
gotta
He
see
kept
it.
holding it upside down and stuff. He was like going nuts.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Oh, game I got to play today. I talk about King of Fighters 14.
Animu.
And tomorrow, first game I'm gonna play is I Am Setsuna.
Whoa. Nice,
go.
Brad.
Yeah,
Nice,
let's go.
Brad. Nice, Brad.
And Resident Evil talk. Everyone wanted it, but we'll talk tomorrow. Hopefully, some other people can play.
Yeah.
I'm playing tonight.
Resident
Tonight.
No sleep.
Huge
Till
Resident Evil
Brooklyn.
talk tomorrow.
It's midnight.
It is midnight. It's E3, baby.
Jones, did you do
No
yours?
sleep.
I have not done my.
till-
I didn't get to. I saw a lot of games today. I went into Activision and saw a couple games presented, but one game that I saw presented in an extremely loud theater that just split my brain in half was Infinite Warfare. Saw the demo that we saw during the show, but wasn't like streamy jank. Wasn't like the sound just coming through the headphones, just like full on 7.0 surround sound, and giant screen. And saw a completely different demo that you did not see at the show from Infinite Warfare that kicked serious ass. So I will be talking about that soon. And tomorrow, I'd like to play Lego Dimensions. I don't know if that's like hype.
That's hype.
I don't
That's
know if we-
hype.
I don't know if we
That's
can-
hype. Come
I don't know if we
on.
can crunch on Dimensions, but Gizmo's in that game. Come on.
I have a super hyperbolic statement
Hyperbolic.
that I believe in my soul
Oh,
that
dear.
that could be a crunch.
We're going to Hyperbole.
Okay.
Hyperbowl.
Mafia 3 immediately from this demo, top 5 shotguns of all time. No question.
Best booth
No
of the show.
question.
Mafia 3 best booth of the show.
Oh yeah,
The
that
2K
booth is
booth?
incredible.
2K snuck right in
I
where
mean-
EA has been
Yeah.
as long as I've been going to E3 since 2002. You walk into South Hall and there's EA right in front of you. EA's gone. EA is across the street up at LA Live. 2K is like, step aside. Whoop. So now you walk in. You are in like, where is that? Where's Mafia 3 take place?
I'm like Louisiana.
I think it's
in
called
New Orleans.
New
Yeah, you are
Marais.
in New Orleans. They have a jazz band. They have a fortune teller. It is this like facade of this hotel. I'm like, oh yeah, it's beautiful.
shotgun.
That Nintendo booth though is
I
pretty sick.
didn't even set foot in it today.
You're gonna
And I'm
visit it
get over
tomorrow,
it.
Jones.
Yeah.
You have
And I'll make time
We're
to
gonna
play that
visit a
hopefully
jolly
Thursday
time.
morning. So yeah, so there is more that happened that we didn't get to talk about. There is more that is going to happen. This is just the first day of E3. We have 2 more days to go to check out all these games. We have 2 more days to go to sit down at this desk and tell you as many things as we can before we all pass out from exhaustion. But I got to get up 7 hours from now and go back to E3.
Oh, boy.
All these crazy guys got to actually get in their cars and drive home. Don't forget your keys are in that backpack over there, Huber.
Yes.
And get some rest so we can get up tomorrow morning and go back and check out more of E3. There's so much to check out. There's so many amazing games. Like as Ben said, this is a beautiful time to be alive and be a gamer. Thank you guys for working so hard today. Thank you, allies, for hitting the carpet and running around and checking all this stuff out.
We have to thank the mods again. They are killing it.
Mods are killing it.
Yes.
Just tons of support. I actually don't spend enough time on our NeoGAF thread, and I actually was like going to close the laptop last night and like was going through there and just like lots of really great vibes. People like some games from the show. They don't like other games, and regardless of what our opinions are, you all of you have tremendous support for us, and we really appreciate it.
We have forums on our website now.
We have forums on our website.
Yeah.
Go there.
Which existed right before E3, so I
Yeah.
have not had time to really go in there.
Check out
and,
easyeyes.com
And
and
the only thing that even exists close to a mod is Brent. So
Right.
yeah.
But the man who built the website is a very nice man, so hopefully we'll be in there helping out. And we will be making more appearances in that forum. Of course, we are just busy running around the show right now. But that is it, day one. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m., the same time we started tonight, Pacific Standard Time, to pick up with more stuff. And, we will talk about more, but there will still be more that we did not talk about. But thank you all for watching. We hope you had a wonderful time. We hope you have a wonderful Wednesday tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow night.
Outro.
too late.
No,
Yeah. Oh. Yes.
hard out.
He hasn't done it.
I haven't done it.
That's all right.
You want it?
Yeah, hit the outro.
Hey, outro button.
Take us out, Huber.
Outro.
Take us
Yeah.
out.
there it is. Nice. Oh, and click mute as well.